Guys, I'm about to go live.
Thanks.
All right, I'm going live real quick.
Facebook?
Facebook, and so go to the Maze Jackson page. All right, look, so this morning, we did a rundown, but here's what we're gonna do. So not obviously, but 7 to 7:20, we usually do 7 to 17. We usually do light banter. There's a bunch of stuff that's in the news. Taymon, you can tickle the crime stats. We'll probably push that to the 7 o'clock hour because we're going to talk about this fake police story as well as Monterey security robbing themselves. Robbing Holy Name Cathedral, right? So with the crime thing going on, so that's where we'll go in the morning. Just some of the things that we can tease. Feel free to go, or both of you guys can feel free to go where you want to go. Take it. We've got about 17 minutes, so just be aware of the clock. 17, when you see this, it means break. If you see me doing this, it means I need you to get the point out because I'm trying to get to a close. And so we got to congratulate these guys that got off. That had their wrongful conviction. Sun-Times has another altar call on page 2. Please buy our paper. It's 80s. Paul Vallis to announce the Nigerian president. You got that's in town. You got Trump. Stormy Daniels is suing for defamation of character. Imagine that. A stripper suing for defamation of character. But I guess everybody got a right to be treated fairly, huh? Social media question of the day. You know, I've been looking at this ROM thing from the position of political alliances like Green Team and Tribal, but there may be an old versus new thing going on as well. So, just talking about who should black people align themselves with in this upcoming political cycle or in this changing political dynamic. Add into the mix that Luis Gutierrez his daughter is now running as well, which means that the Latinos are truly asserting their power. At this point, where does that leave us? You know how I go with that. I told you about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. We got the author. We also don't forget at 7 o'clock, Amara Enya will be in as well. And then we have the War on Cities. The War on Cities conversation. We'll have the author. His name is Ryan LaGelia Holland. He'll be on at 8 o'clock. 8:30, we'll have Dr. Rachel. She'll talk health, blood pressure. We'll have her for a few minutes, and then we'll close it out at 8:50. We're just kind of 8:50, just wrapping up kind of anything if there's anything you want to go back to, if there's something you felt like.
Thank you.
Everybody good?
On the book,
Yes.
the War on Neighborhoods.
Jam packed.
I like the blood pressure. I'm sort of borderline to
Thank you.
Blood pressure?
So,
Yeah, I don't eat right.
It's very common in African Americans. No,
So-
I was just reading it. I was just reading that.
Hereditary, all that
I
good
was
stuff.
going to print it out, but it's going to be 11 pages just to get to the meat there.
so
Here's
that's
the
good.
background on the War on the Neighborhoods book.
Okay.
Background
You
here.
are on Facebook.
Me? Oh, yeah.
Maze. So, Taymon, I would recommend
Do
that
me a
you.
favor, call it, say Tamad, right?
Tama.
But that's okay.
Tama. No, I got it.
Is it like?
You know what?
Is it like Taman?
That's what it is.
Taman.
That's what it
Taman.
is.
Man, can I tell you what? My name is Mazon, right? My full name. And so I have no problem. Correct me, Taman.
Taman.
Taman Bradley.
No
All right.
worries, you're good, man.
So,
I should go to the bathroom before we go live here.
okay. You know where
You
you're
know what
going?
it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be right back.
Okay. Live. Hey, y'all, what's up, everybody? Take a moment, share the broadcast. Share it. YouTube has been acting just a little funny, y'all. City Club yesterday, off the chain. They invited me back yesterday. I'll be back today, y'all. What's up? Shar.
great job, Mace.
Thank you so much.
Great job. I played it twice.
Oh, thank you.
Get all the points.
Thank you. That was nice. I appreciate that. Tweedly. All right, y'all. I need everybody to share the broadcast. Y'all been slacking on your pimping. Been noticing. So you got to share the broadcast and invite 10 friends. How about that? What's up, Alicia Graddick? What's up to everybody on YouTube? Yesterday, I don't know. Y'all on the YouTube, if the YouTube goes down, you got to flip to Facebook. I apologize, but I know those of you that enjoy the All right, y'all. I am not awake yet.
It's hot here.
I am not. That's because the sun is coming and you. Time to build a new man. I know we could do it if we all in the hand. Come on, y'all. Can you?
Yes, got it. Something's going on.
You still not straight?
No.
This one's good.
Do you hear that?
Let's try. Yeah, I know what you're
Oh,
saying.
you hear that too? Okay.
Did you try these?
No,
Try these.
I can't hear anything on that. I'll go with the static. It's fine.
Are you?
It's fine.
Good morning, Chicago. Good morning, world. This is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Charles Thomas is out this week, and so sitting in for him all week will be Miss Kimberly Agoin. Kimberly, how you feeling this morning?
I'm doing great, Maze. Great to be with all the listeners.
All right. Well, y'all, let me tell you what. We got a great show for you in store. We got a lot of stuff going on today, y'all. We got a packed show. We got a packed studio. It is going to be off the chain. I can't wait to talk about it. But look, before we get started, you know I got to do the right thing and get the WVO. We got to get this soul plane up in the air. And if we're going to get the soul plane up in the air, I got to say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom? Annette, how you feeling? It is 84 degrees today. What am I hearing in my headphones? What can we?
Maybe it's all of them.
Yeah, you know, yeah. Yeah, I know. It's early in the morning. It'd be like, I got a lot of things going on. Flip-flops and tank tops. Ooh, and that. Hey, look. See, now here you go, Annette. Getting them all started. Look, the fellas at the door. Oh, there they go. I hear them. Annette, flip-flops and tank tops. Annette, are you one of those flip-flops and tank tops types? All right, we go. Are you Daisy Dukes too? Daisy Dukes too? Are you saying that like a yes? See, Annette, I'm just telling you. Look, you know what? What is a beautiful dude like you doing on the island all alone? My name is St. Jacques. Hey, it's the WVON Morning Show. That voice you heard back there was Annette Flournoy. But, you know, if we're going to get the soul plane in the air, we cannot do it without the musical conductor. That's right, Miss Sonia Escobar. Sonia, how you feeling this morning? Oh, you know what? Did you call it the City Key Club? It's not the. That's the problem right now. This damn City Key. You know what? It's the City Club of Chicago. Leave it up to Rom. It'll be the City Key Club. He trying to give everybody a key, a pass. But you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all what. I don't know if they was a little. I caught the Holy Ghost yesterday. I don't think they was ready for Maze Jackson at the City Club, because that was that wasn't the Afrostocracy, that was the aristocracy of Chicago in the building. But you know what? I had to speak my truth. But hey, y'all, speaking of speaking my truth, in the building this morning, y'all, we getting ready to get it cracking. Now, Uncle Charles isn't here, and you know, we got Kimberly going, but we got to have us a classically trained journalist in the building. And so, joining us in the building this morning, doing his best Uncle Charles impression. I mean, you might have overdone the Uncle Charles impression. Uncle Charles just come with a hat. You came with the hat and the get up. You got the windbreaker and everything. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WVON Morning Show. WGN Channel 9's own Taman Bradley. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? It's good to be here.
Hey.
You know, I was here the day after Christmas with Uncle Charles.
Okay.
You were someplace warm, and it was 2 degrees. And so I come back, and it's what, in the 80s?
It's in the 80s, and you got a jacket on.
And I got to represent my white side.
Hey, you know what? You hold it down. This is a White Sox studio. What did y'all call it? So Kim, Taman, yeah, I think I missed the phone call. I missed the phone call because this must be. She got the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
You got the Chicago White Sox.
Well, you wearing blue. What is that for the Cubs?
Hell no!
All right.
Now, shout out to my man Julian Green, and shout out to my man. Tom Ricketts always treats me real good when I come up there. But no, this is if I'm wearing this blue, I'm gonna wear the blue and the white for I got to represent for the mob, right? That's for the men of Phi Beta Sigma. That's why I'm wearing blue and white today. But next time y'all gonna have a sports theme, let me know, cause I think between the Cubs, the White Sox, and my Bears jersey, I think we get a combined 10 wins from all of them.
Sounds about right, yeah.
I thought.
Can I ask a question about City Club?
Yes,
Is
you
that
can.
okay?
Oh, you said okay.
Did you announce for mayor?
No.
You know, when you go and you meet with the business elite of Chicago and you meet with the folks who are at the City Club, usually you're there to break some news. So what happened?
I wasn't there. Actually, yesterday I was there to talk about the city key, this municipal ID.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't announce, but you know what? I'm going to tell you, brother. I felt something was going on. Like, I did feel like under the microscope. Like, you know how, like, people are like, let me meet you. Come, let me speak to you. There was a lot going on yesterday, and I'm going to tell y'all, we're going to talk about this city club because that was an experience. But no, I did not make an announcement. I did announce yesterday here, though, that I am going about the listening tour. And I was pretty adamant on the yesterday in speaking with people that I do plan on going to listening tour. What was surprising for me, y'all, is that it wasn't just black people, though, that were like, Maze, I'm hearing you. Right? Like when I came off the stage, it was little old white ladies. I understand. And I was starting to feel like, hey, man, there could be a coalition that could be put together. And I think we're going to talk about that when we talk for our social media question of the day. Because at the City Club yesterday, I'm starting to rethink the dynamics of this race and what's coming on and how it could shape up and unfold. But man, Chicago is in a real interesting place right now. And I think everybody is unsure of where they fit in. And Ramon's got that all up in the air. And with all of these candidates, I think it's anybody's race really to have. Somebody said to me, man, I said one of them top PR guys, said that they believe that there's the potential that Ram could not make the runoff. I was saying, nah. But then yesterday at that City Club, I was looking around at some of the people. Guess who sat next to me yesterday?
Who was next to you?
Bill Daley.
Yeah.
Bill Daley came in.
Front row, right?
Front row, as after telling the mayor to put his big boy pants on. Now, I was thinking, why would Bill Daley, of the Dailies, former chief of staff, come sit next to Maze Jackson 2 days after he tells the mayor to put his big boy pants? Do you think he was trying to tell the mayor something?
So let me challenge that since I'm wearing the classically trained journalist White Sox hat today.
Go.
This morning. So I think the race begins advantage Rahm Emanuel, and I say that because I think Rahm Emanuel knows his base. I think he understands who votes in city elections, and I think you look at the excitement around repavement, you look at the separation of the bike and the running lanes along the lake. You look at contracts. You look at we now have the violence reduction numbers which are out this morning. You look at the 1,000 more officers, 100 took to the streets over the weekend. You look at fighting, the carjackings and et cetera. The mayor understands, and of course the city key, Latino.
Yeah.
There's not a Latino candidate. So whereas I agree it's going to be a fascinating race with twists and turns, I think at the moment it's advantage Rahm Emanuel. He's got a ton of money too.
I 100% agree with that assessment. But y'all, I'm gonna tell you what, it's a lot of people that don't like them bike lanes. We're gonna talk about it all. I cannot wait for this conversation. It's the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, Kimberly Ogoin, and Tamon Bradley in the building. We'll be back. Yeah, I think that I definitely think it's advantage Rahm. I think that Rahm probably starts with a solid 35, right? I think he's
That's pretty good.
I think he's
with, gazillion candidates.
I think he starts with a solid 35. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Laquan's case happening smack dab in the run-up, right? You got the dailies preparing to wage all-out war.
But they're with Gaynor. Who are they with?
I think that they're in the get to a runoff. I think the answer is, I think the end all be all could be Gaynor, because I think when you look at Gaynor again is Beverly Roots, highest voting, moves into the northwest side in 47, which is one of the highest. So you're going to get those cops, those fire, like all of those disgruntled white ethnic whatever.
Yes.
Right? Then you go Bridget has been laying groundwork in the black community for a long time. Like, so you can't really, she's going to compromise black wards and townships, right? So like, and so I just feel like Bridget is probably the person. So you put Rahm against Bridget. I think the city says Bridget could competently handle moving the city forward. Like all the stuff that's going, I think they could say she could competently do it.
Well, there's two candidates. I think they would say that as Paul Vallis and Bridget Gaynor,
who announces tomorrow.
So I think, but Bridget or Paul is the Rahm alternative. Probably Bridget, right?
Yeah. I think Bridget, if you're betting.
Assuming all things are, now there'll be the Apple research. We'll learn whatever we're going to learn about her. I think we kind of already know what we know about Vallis. That stuff's already out there.
Right. And I think the only thing you'll probably get on Bridget, right? Because I think Bridget is one of these grown for this job type of people. Like my father was like, so I think what you'll find from Bridget is where she gets paid. Right, like how she gets paid.
There you go.
Like you're gonna the challenge for Bridget will be I'm plugged at Aon, I'm a lobbyist, and but I'm going to bet you that they were smart enough, right, to start saying when they were starting to be machinations, they started saying, okay, be very judicious in what you pick and how you do it. Right. That's why I think she's not a contract lobbyist.
Right.
She's like an employee.
Right. You go to.
She's an actual employee.
Right.
I'll try making that distinction when they're hammering you into a TV or radio.
Yeah, but it looks like the types of jobs that she gets are lofty type. Whatever she's doing at Aon, it's progressive. I can't remember the name of her position there, but I understand what you're saying. She's not like a contract lobbyist.
Oh no, she's governmental affairs.
I thought she had something else there.
I still think again that that's a hard distinction for people. That's very nuanced.
All right, y'all, take a moment, share the broadcast. Hey, Tamon, if you have the chance, get on Facebook Live, right? Go to the Maze Jackson page and click in the broadcast, and you can talk to people directly. They'll be speaking to you. They'll ask you questions directly. And during this off and down time, you can answer their questions directly as well.
Maze Jackson page.
Yep. Or you can go to Maze Jackson, either one.
Global Public Affairs.
Right. Lobbyist.
What does that mean?
But Vice President of Global, keep listeners up to.
That sounds like lobbyist.
Oh. It's the first of the. It's
It is.
Get up. It's the first of the month. What?
They're too fast for me. What are the questions?
With the questions? You got it.
Ah,
There you go.
You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Charles Thomas is out this week, so sitting in for him is Miss Kimberly Agoin. And today we got Tamon Bradley from WGN Channel 9, another classically trained journalist. You know, we got to keep y'all straight because, you know, sometimes with Kim and Tamon, they're going to keep me together because y'all know I can get a little bit out there. Tamon, but before we go further, tell the WVON listening audience a little bit about yourself, how they can catch you, when they can find you. You know,
man.
where you from? Give us some
do
background,
the
man.
commercial. Well, I'm the weekend anchor on WGN. You know, you watch on Saturday nights and Sunday nights, 5 and 9 with Jackie Bang, right?
Right.
And then during the week, you see me. I'm the station's political reporter. So you see my stories during the week, including I had Maze Jackson in one of my stories on Friday. You saw that, right?
Hey, man.
We're talking about Kanye and all that good stuff. So I was born in the city. My parents were Southsiders. Grew up in Richmond Park. Went to Rich Central out in Olympia Fields. Went to Howard University.
Oh,
in Washington,
Lord,
D.C.
you one of them Buffalo dudes.
Bison.
Oh, Lord, shout out Vince Bass. I can hear all the bison. Look, ain't you, I can hear all, oh, God.
Wakanda is coming to HU too later this month.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Really?
right. He's doing the commencement
He's doing the
speech.
commencement speech. Yeah, an alum.
Chadwick
Black
Boseman.
Panther himself.
Hey, man, I was watching
Black
mean
Panther at
tweets.
the Mecca.
I was watching mean tweets last night on Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know why I'm up that late watching Jimmy Kimmel, but the Chadwick Boseman, the mean tweet was, how can you be the king of Wakanda, the blackest movie ever, and have a white boy, white bread name like Chadwick Boseman?
He's one of those Southern boys. South
That's an
Carolina
elegant
names.
name. Classically
Carolina.
trained actor. Well, we're talking about classically trained journalist.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman. So y'all,
That's how we are at Howard.
Oh my God.
Hey
That's how
man,
we down.
hey man, you know I noticed that Howard, don't nobody, all the black women at Howard, nobody got like a perm or a weave. They all got like natural. Is
That's
that
not
That's
absolutely
so
not true.
It's not true?
No.
No. There's all kinds of stuff, but
No.
it's just really good that you can't tell.
Go to a
Like it-
probate show.
Exactly.
You'll see everybody flinging
which
their
is
hair.
happening right now. You know.
That's
Well,
right.
actually, no. I guess we're
Alpha
maybe
chapter
just
just
turned
went.
from.
No,
Yeah.
Alpha chapter AKAs just went over.
they were
and
late.
The Deltas. Yeah,
They were waiting.
Yeah.
so no wait, so wait, are you
Well,
a
let me
member
say
of
this. No, I'm not. But let
Okay.
me say this, Maze.
Yeah.
There's not a more beautiful place in the world than Howard University when the weather's warm.
You know what?
It is.
And that homecoming
Because
is-
Did y'all get that?
Because
Did y'all-
folks dress up.
Did they dress
women
up?
wear stilettos to class.
I noticed that too. Let me tell you that.
Now,
I can't tell you what I
wore-
noticed about Howard too. Something about them hills does a lot of work.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kim. Yeah. So.
No, I was just saying their homecoming is off the chain. I mean, a couple of years ago, I was doing some campaign work, and I went to homecoming, the president's homecoming at Museum. So I don't know if you've ever been to Museum, and it's
Yeah.
all about news around the. And everyone just started doing the surfing thing. It was awesome. It was great. And Debbie Allen was there. I mean, like, when you go, there are real people there. Real people.
Yes.
ILL, thank you very much. Shout out to the black alumni of University.
Nightline for ABC News. Then I had a fellowship the summer after I graduated, and that led to a job. I knew I wanted to be a reporter, wanted to be on air, and I told them that. But I also knew they were staffing up to cover politics. This was back in the 2006 election, and so I took a job as a off-air reporter essentially, and I did that for a while. Created a web show so that I could show executives, hey, put me on air, and so figured out how to get on TV at a network, and did a lot of jobs there. Worked for ABC for 8 years, and then needed to come home, wanted something different, and ended up at WG, and really because I just liked the bosses, and I liked how we do the news at WG. We have more time to do stories, which is the thing that I like best.
I noticed that. You know, I do notice that about WGN. They also have kind of a loosey-goosey kind of attitude.
Oh, we
See,
clown a little bit.
yeah, you clown. I'll never forget one day I was like, I woke up and y'all had Jimmy Butler in a thong. And I was like, the hell is going on here? I was like, the black. And I was just like, Jesus. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, it was the social media question of the day. And I was out. But I'm going to tell you, they keep cracking. I know a lot of people that watch it. So, Tamon, thank you. You know what? I was just, you just said something that I thought was very interesting. So you didn't start out on TV. Wanted to be there, and so you started your own web show to show them that you could. You know, I kept
Sunday Sound. I played highlights from the Sunday news show. So Meet the Press this week, Face the Nation. Took a little clip, did everything for the show. Literally wrote it. I think I operated my own prompter even. I cut the video I had to do everything, but I had help from the executive producer of This Week at the time, and she allowed me to do it and taught me how to do. So she's like, "Look, we're gonna."
You mean This Week, like This Week with George
I
Stephanopoulos?
would do it in George's set.
What?
Yes.
Oh!
Yes. Now we're not gonna find these videos. We're not gonna be looking.
Oh yeah, I'm about to Google them. I'm about to find them.
But you never
Get
Google
Google
it right now.
Get them right now.
Sunday Sound.
Sunday. Hey man, that is so awesome. So I'm gonna tell y'all one of my dreams in life. I got 2 more bucket lists. Is
Okay.
Meet the Press and This Week with George Stephanopoulos. Those are 2. Like George Stephanopoulos is like really my idol of the path of a guy who went from politics like hardcore
Yes.
on the campaign and then using that information and enlightening. You know what? This is going to be a great show, y'all. I'm excited. We got Tamon Bradley. We got Kimberly going. Now, Kim's going to be with me all week, y'all. Also, she's your queen. That's right. You heard it. Amara India is going to be in here. So, y'all, I'm going to tell you, this studio is about to get cracking. But, hey, you all mentioned something. Tamon, you mentioned, and Kim, you said that you saw it yesterday. I was at the City Club of Chicago yesterday as a guest. I'm not going to tell y'all how they set me up because, y'all, it was a setup. But we'll talk about that when we come back. But social media question of the day. The shifting political dynamics in the city of Chicago. Who should black people be aligning themselves with moving forward? You look around, the Irish are making new deals, Madigan teaming up with Chewy. It's a lot of stuff going on, right? And it seems like I was thinking of this one way, but there's a whole new dynamic that I think we need to talk about. We'll talk about it all when we come back after traffic, news, and the weather. It's the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. I got Kimberly Agoin and Tamon Bradley in the studio. We'll be back.
It's the Mecca.
For cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6.
Oh, yeah, but it's clear that yesterday there was a convening of the green team. The green team was like, oh yeah, like I thought something was happening on after the news story and then the phone call and then seeing Bill Daley respond twice said to me there was that the gloves were off, right? Yeah. And then I just gotta say, and Cass said it yesterday, and I didn't really pick up on it until somebody pointed it out to me. Like, seriously, Maze, Bill Daley doesn't come to City Club of Chicago. You mean to tell me he came to City Club of Chicago for an off-topic, right? Because there was an off-topic, like there was no.
Asked for a couple different times. Hey, come on our Sunday show. Never heard back. Yeah, they don't want to talk about it.
And
you just want to be safe and how to look. So Team Green and black people need to cut a deal.
I said the same damn thing.
Don't you think?
Yes, because guess who's the 2 people getting left out of all of this? The black. Oh my God. Okay, so I came to that same conclusion.
I don't think I can use terms like Team Green again as the straight White Sox journalist, as the classically trained.
You are the
brother.
classically trained.
The classically trained brother. Having said that, though, yes, those 2 groups.
We are the 2 at risk of losing most if this thing goes. That's so dope that I'm so glad. So yesterday, though, think about the fact that Bill Daley comes in and his seat is right next to me. Now, who is the most vociferous critic of the mayor in the... And it was like they was like, oh yeah, that was the FU Rom photo, right?
Well, let me ask, what is this cast with the glowing column last week? What's this love affair? Why is he now interested in the things that you care about? How did that start? Were y'all having dinner downtown?
No,
some Greek, you eating a pig or what?
No, you know what? So I'll tell you honestly.
Lamb.
So there's a guy that I talk about named Double J. That's one of my political mentors. He was there yesterday, and over time, he was the guy who said you need to meet Mark Brown. You need to build a relationship. He was determined to make sure that Charles and I met, right? He was like, bro, you got something. There's not a lot. And so he knew Charles like White Sox and figured out a way to get me and Charles together. He was like, you need to talk to Cass because these are the people that will add some. And I've been going back and forth with Cass on the Facebook inbox, etc. And then like he did this story with Dr. Starks, and it was my poli-sci 101, and I was like, okay, I just did this lesson last night. So we started inboxing, and then I started going off about this City ID Club, but actually like all of the PR people, like the Seraphins and all those people listen. So everybody's been saying, like, if you're political in Chicago, it's like nobody will come on, but they were listening. And then he hits me up about, man, what's up with this municipal ID? And I was like, man, it's just another. Man, I've been listening. He says you go to the Tribune, and he's like, he goes in the morning, and people are fucking huddled around I don't know where the glowing article came from, but I'll tell you what, it freaking way different dynamic of people, but a whole different level of credibility to a different audience.
Right, and I think that it had the potential to direct some folks to your show, whereas as he wrote, you're talking about things that are not being discussed.
I mean, he had people. I was listening to the feed yesterday, and you were getting like all this applause. Like people were really feeling what you were saying. They tried to combat it when the other little lady was talking, and they were trying to be nice to her and everything. She had some issues. I don't know what's going on with her, but you were getting all this applause. Like people were like, yeah, down with the car.
Jay Doherty was like, that is the rowdiest city club I've ever seen. We don't do. Then somebody comes to me after. We don't do this at the city club. It's a much more dignified affair, and I've never seen people not like in a bad way. It was just like I've never seen people respond like that. But it was the little old white ladies who was waiting afterwards, like, could you please take my number? Because I believe. And and it's like, it's those. And then it's the people like when we broke the internet with Joe Walsh. Like when we broke iHeart and Joe Walsh was in here for 3 hours. I have been, the ads to my Facebook and the ads to my Twitter, the people that have been picking up, it's been pretty interesting to say the least. But I tell you, Cass is a very interesting dynamic because Jesus Christ, I don't think does he have any friends? I was like, man, he was like, keep going. I was like, man, because it's a tough road to be Maze Jackson right now because a lot of the friends I used to have, they be like, we back, y'all. I'd rather fuck with you. Who? Yeah. Said I'd rather fuck with you. Oh, I remember the NWA version. Woo!
Hey.
We got the soul crew going on. Look at everybody don't gotta be straight at the job.
That's my song.
If you want it,
can have it.
You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. My main man, Charles Thomas, you know what, y'all? He's out for the week. I think he's celebrating his birthday, kicking it with the grandkids. You know, he said that you got that official, I'm going to spend some time with my grandkids. And you know, it's like when Uncle Charles Tamon, both y'all got that like official voice. Like, how do you get the official news voice? You know, I don't have very much bass, but I always wanted to have the official. Like when you talk, I feel like I hear it. It sounds so official.
When you're born, the doctor slaps you and says you're gonna be a newsman.
Does he?
That's that.
So I feel like the doctors woke when I woke
You
up.
have a good voice.
For,
You need a voice that people pay attention to. That's
well,
what
clearly they pay attention, but
Right.
but they don't. You know what? The worst thing you know what my biggest fears in life is? The drive-through with my son in the car. Because when I go to the drive-through and I say, yes, I'd like a Big Mac, they be like, yes, ma'am, would you like fries with that?
Right.
And my son is over there like, and I'm like, I said I want a Big Mac. Hey, y'all, this is the WVON Morning Show. In case you do not know what you are hearing, Uncle Charles is off for the week. Kimberly Agoin will be sitting in with me. And today we also have Tamon Bradley. He is the weekend anchor at WGN News and the political reporter. Okay, so speaking of politics, hey, y'all. So, Tamon, I'm a credit you with helping move your brother off the move me from C list to B list. Right? I made it from C list to B list with your news report.
And then you were at City Club. That's not a coincidence.
Right, and then I was at City Club, right? I was like, woo! So I was there, I was around. But yesterday, I was at City Club and I had the opportunity to have a discussion, and we were talking about this municipal ID and the city key card. But it also got me to looking around at the dynamics, the changing dynamics of the city. And I was thinking about how the political dynamics are shifting, and there is a new power base emerging. See, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's absolutely right, May, is what I've been saying for a while now is it seems in the city, which is, of course, a third white, a third black, a third Latino, Latinos are becoming organized. The establishment reaches out to them, and they can make or break elections. Think back to what happened with Chuy Garcia, who decided he was going to take on Ed Burke. Ed Burke's brother lost a state house rep race because Chuy got involved there. And so going forward, the Latino vote seems to be the decisive one.
But Tamon, Kim,
Yeah.
is the Latino vote the decisive one, or is the Latino perception of emerging power the decision maker? Because are Latinos really voting at the same rate black folks are?
That's a good. I don't have the numbers in front of me.
They're not.
That's a good
I can
point.
tell you.
I mean, I think they vote more often than the black community, right?
But they
No.
it's the same
The
number.
Latino numbers are much lower turnout wise than the black community still. So while we have this increasing perception of Latinos, and yes, they have population, but that's the reason this municipal ID is so crazy, because yeah, they got numbers, but voting numbers. And that's the key, the voting numbers here. And that's where I think he's capitalizing. Go ahead, Kim.
Well, they're making impact where they can. I mean, if we were just talking about what he just said, Dan Burke lost his seat because they came out and voted to put their person in. So you have to look at where they're making the impacts. They're doing what they can with what they have. And that's something that African Americans are not doing anywhere in the city.
If more African Americans then are voting than Latinos, then that's not great for Rahm Emanuel, because he's going to need to repair relations there, and he's going to need more votes than just the folks that the black aldermen can get for him.
And that in and of itself is an issue that we'll talk about too, because I'm looking forward to this because we can break a bunch of this stuff down. But I want to ask the question: who should black people be aligning with in the Chicago's changing political landscape? See, what I see happening right now as this, and I think we can get the stats, but I'll tell you now, the Latino voting rate is growing and they're catching up, but they're still not, they don't vote at the level that that black Democrats do. So that's pretty widely recognized, even if you talk to Latino politicians. But it's their perception of power. You know, I talked about this yesterday at City Club. Remember when Lyndon Baines Johnson said, if I give the black folks this Voting Rights Act and all of that good stuff, the Civil Rights Act, he said, I had them Negroes voting for me for 60 years. I feel like that's what's happening with this municipal ID, right? There is a growing voter base that Rahm is moving towards the future, and he thought he secured that by, you know, with Chewy, he was like, oh, Lord. And, you know, the Chicago thing is up and out, right? So he saw Chewy as a threat for mayor, so they got him to Congress.
Right.
But it still seems like there's a Jewish relationship. Now, I don't know how far you can go, but look, the black, right now the power has shifted. I said this yesterday. The power has shifted away from the Irish community, which I like to call the green team. You be the straight man, I do. The green team's power has shifted from the green team to the tribe. The tribe is now saying, let's ally with the future, which is the Latinos, leaving the two groups that used to be at the top, moving rapidly to the bottom. Now, I ain't saying we was great under Daley, but boy, things ain't the same for us under.
So might you be suggesting there's a natural alignment in the way that you describe it among the green and black folks?
Well, I would ask you, let me say this.
Well, I'll just work with the facts. I mean, I think the challenge with that, Maze, is who are black people going to support? You have several blacks in the race, and you could potentially have another. You could have Lori Lightfoot. All right, so you've got the tech entrepreneur brother. You've got Neil Solis Griffin.
Okay.
Who says he shouldn't even be running?
He said that?
He said, I shouldn't be running in this race, but I'm going to start the conversation.
He's young, wants to start the conversation.
I think he's young.
A free-flowing speech and not, prepare a text, and it was kind of a get-together and a meeting. A lot of folks are waiting 90 minutes.
Right.
But he's done some great work with creating his own business and whatnot. And then you have Jamal Green. Also, Willie Wilson saying that Rahm Emanuel should resign.
Rahm Emanuel is a criminal. He's a criminal.
Must be out of his mind for closing schools. Got his money, busted the cap limits, right?
He busted the cap limits with 100,000. Rahm was like,
How often is it that the black man busts the spending limit, right?
And how did that work out for Kennedy in that gubernatorial election?
But look, he busted the cap. So let me tell y'all the other thing that I see here. I know y'all gonna I get a little deep. Go ahead. You said James.
Then here again, I'll just posit what I'm trying to say as questions, right? I'm the classically trained journalist. If you're going to have a green black alignment, your words, that's the anti-Rahm coalition, then African Americans may have to find a team green that they like, or back their candidate, and then green backs the black candidate, Willie Wilson,
okay,
or whoever that might be. So you'd have to cut a deal.
There we go. Talk about that deal. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just almost offensive that you have to go to the point of having to be a part of Green Team Green, when the black people in this city have enough people and enough votes. If we could only get our minds straight, get our minds right to put anyone in that office that we need to. You can build a coalition similar to what you said around one of these black candidates. And don't forget Troy LaRaviere is in there too, someone who went toe-to-toe with the mayor and has already announced.
Yes.
So, y'all, I'm going to tell you, I think that, folks been getting whooped around by all types of people, right? So we can't really rely on the tribe. We can't really rely on the Latinos. We can't really rely on the green team. However, it seems as though the Latinos and the tribe are already aligned, and I feel like Madigan has already given them the future, right? He conceded the future to them, in my estimation. Go ahead.
Can a deal be cut with Rahm Emanuel?
I think that...
Can there be can his third term be, this is my new black agenda?
I think there's too much bad blood.
I'm gonna tell you that I thought that was what he was supposed to do this last time, right? I think he was supposed to, the first time, he got that, and the second time, remember the first time he was aloof, he was bigger than everybody, he was too important. And now he was supposed to come down, and then he got arrogant again, because, look, y'all, we're going to talk about this when we come back, but I'm going to tell you, if there was to be an alliance between the green team and the blacks, we got to have a whole new dynamic because the green team used to be the overseers, and it would have to be some transfer of power and some new respect in the dynamics. Look, we'll talk about it all when we come back. It's Talk Chicago Traffic and Weather's next.
That's steeped in history, though. They were the overseers.
So
literally, the Irish.
They literally were. So let me tell you, here's the dynamic that's going on in city council or with black elected officials. Under Daley, it was autocratic rule, right? They was like, you doing this? We ain't even talking to you about it. And if you got a problem with it, Victor and HDO will be in your neighborhood next month, right? And that's how they wrote it. And so it was like a get down or lay down. Rahm, on the other hand, but remember they thought of it like, we own all of the stuff here, we control the jobs, we control this vertically. Rahm is like a whole bunch of New York money managers and Chicago money managers who are coming here. They look at it, they say, how can we make it operate as cheaply as possible, right? And ship it off and turn it, and then we'll make it an investment. Well, but in the process, what he's done is he's introduced black elected officials to money, right? Small amounts of money, but money nonetheless. Where Daley kept you broke, Michael Sachs will be like, hey, come on by, have a good, right? And what's money to black people? So then what happens is, right, but then when election comes, when you've been used to running an election for $20,000 a string and a ham bone, and they send you Becky Carroll, and Becky Carroll says, I'll raise you $250,000, just sit right here. Now you've woven Becky Carroll, Tom Bowen, all of them into the system, and now these people get this, now they got access to, these people can make money come from nowhere, right? But Rahm wooed them, right? He spent some time wooing the black aldermen. So where you think that there's just a rubber stamp, a lot of times behind the scenes, he has wealthy people who can do things that you can't do from government, but that they can fix, that they can make happen, right? They don't want to go back to Daley because they like, man, Daley finna come back in here and be like, we got to be back under the old act. The fact of the matter is, though, the Daleys and all of the Irish risk being put out of government all the way through, right, with the exception of Madigan, who they hate. Right? Madigan is a sworn enemy of the Daleys, and really the only thing they got in the pipeline now is Patrick. But if Patrick stays an alderman, how do you raise him out of the, right? Everybody's going to try to fight to kill him. So it's a real, so we do something. The Irish are probably the most willing right now to cut a deal with the black folks, but we'd have to set the terms. As it relates to like Chewy and them are just going and taking the shit that's theirs.
Right.
They're taking it like how we did in the 60s and 70s when we started taking out the RVs, when the West Side was always represented by a white somebody. Neighbor, out, love, peace, chill, drop the caper. Remember them niggas on the hill on the Brownsville that you dice with, smoke blunts and got nice with? Yeah, my nigga Fame up in Prospect. No, them my niggas. No, love wasn't disrespect. I didn't say them. They schooled me to some niggas that you knew from back when you was fucking my niggas. Throwing up like nitro, and they heard you got right through your windpipe slow. So, and tell me what you're gonna do, damn. You are tuned into the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. My man Charles Thomas, you know what, y'all? He's out for the week, so sitting in with me is Kimberly Agoin. And Kimberly, today we got in with us Tamon Bradley. And y'all, we are having a crazy conversation. Let me tell you, if you're not watching us on Facebook Live, you are missing the other part of the conversation. Go to the Maze Jackson page on Facebook and watch us live as we talk behind the scenes. But let's talk on the record. Look, man, black folks are not trying to get back up under the day under the green team, because under the green team we was oppressed. The green team used to
that murders and shootings are down. And so if Rom and Jax makes the South and West Side safer, and if you believe the schools are improving, then why can't there be a deal with Rahm Emanuel?
I'm saying I think that Rahm assumes he's already got a deal. Right? See, here's the thing. And I think you brought this up, and Kim, is something we can talk about, but who cuts the deal with whoever? Right? Who's the honest who's the honest broker? And that is fundamentally, I feel like what you have is a bunch of people racing to the front to steal the black birthright of the people. So all the people that's gonna run to the front, they gonna be like, we black people, we do for the black people. And then it be the same 20 rich black people one more time, one more again.
It never trickles down to the community, no matter who it is. That's the problem. The problem is that you're not going to be able to get the quote-unquote black community to, in large, follow behind anyone who would step forward to be that broker, because we've been burned too many times. And what all of the resources, anything that we should have in our community, we're not receiving. So whenever that person, maybe it's the Afrostocracy, as you call it, Mays, whenever they step forward to broker that deal, they're not going to have the weight of the community behind them.
So can I suggest that I would like to move the conversation from what we can't do to what we can? Because I'm going to tell you, I look around and I see everybody else getting rich. I see everybody else benefiting from this system. Now, I think that we know that the challenge is that we have dishonest brokers in our community. We know who they are. So, right, but we also know that there is a brokerage, there is a deal that needs to be cut. Can we do it transparently? Can we have open conversations? Can we put a list together like we've talked about before and sit them chumps right here? Can we get the mayor to sit across the table with a list of questions that were prepared from the community and say, give it to us? Can we put the green team? Who's the green team? Can we have a meeting? Hey, y'all, let me tell you, with technology, transparency is possible. See them backdoor, closed door meetings? I'm saying, let's have a real conversation. Y'all send y'all people. We'll put our team together. Let's put the Facebook Live on it. Let's get a moderator and let's say, here's the deal, let's cut it. Let's take people like Taman, Charles, people who are straight news guys, straight who can be balanced, but understand that they got an obligation to the community to start facilitating the conversation. Can the black community start saying, we got some uniform goals and principles that we want to get out? And can we start facilitating those and start getting to those people? Because I'm telling you, it's deals being cut right now. And who cuts them? There's a deal being cut for black people right now. And let me tell you, they're going to come through the neighborhood. Y'all know them. Y'all gonna be at the party, because I'm telling you, they had the best parties. The people that got us, that's negotiating, they would give you the best party in the world because they got the best houses, the best cribs.
So who's courting you, man? I would imagine if I'm running for mayor, if I'm serious about reaching out to the South Side, I would reach out to Mays Jackson.
You know what? I think that no one is courting me. I think that right now, I'm probably still nuclear. I think yesterday at the City Club, though, might have been the beginning of the process, right? Of people saying, hey, Mays, how you doing? And again, but that's why I try to be honest with the public now, right? And saying, hey, y'all, it's going down. And it's real in the field. People have offered to buy what's in it for the black people. People have offered to buy Mays Jackson. Let me tell you right now, I could be living in California with a TV show if I would just shut the hell up. If I shut the hell up, y'all be watching the Mays Jackson nightly. But somebody's got to press the envelope, and you just gotta test it. Tamai, Kim?
Well, I would just say, we're talking about having a discussion, having the mayor and sit down, etc. What is it that you could get? What kind of deal do you think that you could get for black people on the side of black people from the mayor that you haven't gotten in the last 8 years? What is it that you think that you could convince him to do for our communities? I mean, what stopped him from doing things for the communities now? Because right now, what he's doing is helping out certain elected officials and certain upper class black businessmen. What is it that you think you could get?
I think you gotta ask Taman, because I said we need to be negotiating. I don't know what because I felt like he was supposed to do it this time.
I mean, if you can't get a community benefits agreement for the Obama Center, or you can't get a site for, as we court Amazon, that's on 87th, I don't know the answer to that.
I'm just saying, at a certain point, when do black people decide who they will negotiate with and who they won't because they've been burned so many times?
Well, I think that, let me tell you what, I'm with you, Kim. Taman, both of y'all, I'm with y'all, but I'm gonna say this: we could be burned. You can't hit a home run if you don't swing at a pitch. And I'm saying that we are, for 4 years, we've been in the crippled paralysis of analysis, right? The reason I went with Ron last time, because I was like, we got 4 years to get our act together. And guess what? We still ain't. Look, it's the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. We come back. Guess what, y'all? We gonna add to the conversation, because she's your queen. Amara is in the building. We'll be back.
I'm saying Bill Daley's not trying to negotiate with Ron. He's trying to whoop.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And again,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is we not even playing. We just sitting we like a tennis match. What they gonna do? And I was saying yesterday, like, we are pawns to be moved around the board. We don't get no vote. I was like, y'all, I was at the City Club. They was talking about black people like we wasn't there. Like, they were like, and the community will get the benefit. And I said, now, code for the community is black. But why is it when we chop this whole thing up, y'all gonna get the disability, we get prisons? That's what we get. We get the ex-offender shit out of all of this. I had a blast yesterday. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna need you to do either, so you're gonna come here, you're gonna come like just about this way.
Okay.
Yep, so be on the other side of that mic.
Okay.
You come this way, and then we'll put Amara here. Ty, can we move? Yeah. And then Ty, can we move this?
Yeah.
Then I can have everybody in the shot.
When do you take the callers? You take calls?
Yeah, we'll take them. When they call.
A nice little
Amara,
Facebook picture. Amara! We go. Broadcast camp, Bradley University. We're talking, I don't know, summer 2000, 1999.
So Kim, I need you to come
Something
to
like
right
that.
here.
Yeah.
Something
Kim.
like that. Okay.
So if I put y'all all, it actually works if everybody.
We've come full circle tomorrow. Isn't that
How much longer is this break? Is this?
Oh, you
got enough
I got
time.
the time. You're right back.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm gonna have one ear.
How about Bahari? Good.
How would you blow my morning?
I know, he messed me up
How would you blow
watching
my
that
morning?
mess.
You right there, Jerry?
Yeah. I just shook my head. I didn't even say anything. One head. I shook my head.
I don't know what he was doing. I don't
What's
know.
up, y'all?
I
Take
hope
them on the
bag
shoulder.
was good. Whatever was in the bag, I hope it was
You come here and
good.
get anything.
You sat
You
up
got
there.
little
Oh my goodness.
What up? They said we calling this Black Jeopardy with all these people.
Oh, great. Can you see her?
Oh, I haven't even flipped yet. Let's see.
You might want to
Come in.
some more.
Right there. Right there is good.
Get a little
What's
closer.
up, my mic? Is that-
So what you should do though, and you, as I always tell people, you can see yourself on the camera. Like if you look at the Facebook Live and then just adjust yourself based on, if you can't see your damn self, then you know something ain't right.
Yes. Okay.
It's funny to me. So, like, Taman and all them are thinking about the callers, but oftentimes, guys, when we're having conversations that people are into, they don't call because they're listening, right? They want to get the information. And so,
Oh, but also because you got your Facebook Live. That's what I realized the other day. When you get like 1,000 comments on your Facebook Live and 1,000, they're talking on there.
what?
Today, I always
Yeah,
get
that's it.
confused. Okay.
It's just a delay.
They're talking on there a lot.
Yeah.
But that just occurred to me yesterday.
So, y'all, look at this. We getting ready to have a full house. Black folks having a conversation. Can we have?
That's
I want to
powerful.
have a Cosby conversation with all
powerful.
these.
You want to go there?
Man, I want to have a conversation with all these people here.
Look at that.
Hold on, bust that. I got to get it.
We all here. This is powerful. Black folk.
Black media in effect.
All right.
So, Tamon, talk to me about the role of social in your job now. Is it an important component? Is it something that they're moving towards? Talk to me.
There's an emphasis on it. We track it, something called Share Rocket, which tracks how you interact with the audience. I don't know. I mean, the morning show,
Can
it's
you
big
move your-
because here's the thing, because you don't immediately when you wake up turn on your TV, but you do check Instagram, Twitter. So now we want our morning show to, as you're doing right now, you want to stream and you want to play with Instagram and Twitter and tease. Hey, turn on the TV, turn on the radio. So there's a lot of that going on. With me, I think Twitter, it's reporters talking to each other. It's sources. That's where the fun is. It's the press releases come out there. And at first, I didn't like it at all. I was kind of old school, classically trained. Now I embrace it.
I'm saying, no, stay there.
Here,
But
you
yeah,
just
right.
Talk,
Yeah.
you're gonna be talking.
There it
on the
is.
side.
So look at I just want to encourage y'all one more time because all of y'all have perfect shots, right? Please look at yourself so that when you, like the mic, if you do this, remember the camera's face on, it's going to block your face. You don't care, then that's fine, but I'm just telling you. Okay.
Gotcha.
What up, Jonathan Todd? What up, Carlton Brown? Hey, also you all, while you're over there, if you are on the live, shout out to the people, right? Tell them, say what's up to them by name. People remember that and then they come back,
Yeah.
right? So remember to a lot of people,
You can do
this is like watching TV, right? So very rarely do you get to have the two-way dialogue with a person. What up, Carlton? What up, Howard Trout? Maria Munoz?
All right, what's your Twitter?
First name, last name. Simple.
It is simple.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd it go?
What up, Quasi?
And look, 20 years later, full circle, in the studio.
Wait, so y'all in the studio? Oh, we're gonna have to hit that.
I've been trying to get to the studio.
Hey guys, y'all want to let you all know, hey, everybody on here, Joe Walsh just got a national TV show. Yes, he's on nightly now. Nightly on Newsmax. Donald Trump got him banned from Fox.
Wow.
Oh yeah, Donald Trump blocked Joe Walsh
X.
How'd that happen?
Yeah, okay.
because he be letting them have it, and President Trump read his tweets.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. STAY.
What up, Commissioner Carrie Steele? What up, Remy Ramesses? What up, Stephanie Falasha Masego?
Okay.
Tiger Lily. What up, Charmaine Henry?
Black folks. Say
W-O-K.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, there you are.
What up, Kent Thompson? Antonio. Brother Patah. Hit us on Twitter, y'all. Tell them how they can catch. Tamon, tell them how they can get you on Twitter.
At Tamon Bradley. Tahman Bradley. TAHMANBRADLEY. People don't follow me on Twitter. Please follow me. I got the blue check mark. I'm legit. Like it is.
I'm realizing that. I've
Yes,
been
Twitter
like,
Yeah.
And Twitter is lit sometimes.
you know,
Yes.
you know what? I'm an old man. See y'all kids, man. I'm 50 years old. This stuff be moving too fast for me. I be like, whoa. Hey, what you say? Where I got? Hey.
See, I love that. I got a follower just off of that. Like, keep going.
What up, Beulah?
At
To
TAHMANBRADLEY. That's great. I gotta come on your show.
Hey, y'all go follow them. Hey, put it in the Facebook live feed. Put
Yeah.
your Twitter in there and they'll follow you.
Yeah, right?
Window seat. Y'all go follow that brother. Show him how we do.
Brilliant.
Take it out time. On Instagram too. Next to me. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM, y'all. It's the WVON morning show, and it is cracking in the studio this morning. Let me tell y'all. Now, you know what? The Soul Plane is up in the air, full flight. You know what I'm saying? We got Miss Annette Flournoy in the newsroom. We got Sonia Escobar, the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. She got us rocking in the air. Y'all, you know they keep saying, why do that Soul Plane keep going forward, take 2 steps front, 2 steps back? Because it is the musical conductor, Miss Sonia Escobar. Now, y'all know Uncle Charles is out for the week, so sitting in with me is Miss Kimberly Agoin. She is a commentator. Catch her Mondays. That's right, Mondays, 9:20, 5:20. And 11:55. You know, I get sensitive when I say that. I feel a certain kind of way because, you know, it was just a year ago that I was right here as a commentator. And, you know, I got sentimental about it. Now, y'all don't know, my man Tamon Bradley is in the building. He is the weekend anchor and political reporter for Channel 9, WGN.
What's up, man?
What's up? Now, but y'all know how we got to do on Tuesdays. On Tuesdays, when you hear this, that means that she is in the building. That's right. Chicago's own African queen, princess of the nation, direct from Wakanda, Amara Enya. Amara, welcome to the welcome back to the WVON morning show. How you feeling?
I am feeling fantastic.
All right, so Amara, what's we've been chopping it up, and I was thinking, we're gonna have us a great Black media intellectual day, and I thought I was gonna surprise everybody, right? So I thought, I'm like, ooh, when Amara comes here and she see Tamon Bradley and Kimberly going, she gonna be like, oh wow. It was like, man, I know. Man, look, y'all, when Amara and Tamon saw each other, they was like, man, y'all two know each other.
Yes, we do. So we go back to broadcast camp from high school. Was that 20 years?
What kind of high school y'all went to with some broadcast camp?
Well, the kind where you go to Bradley University, you get together and you do a newscast. I was picked to be the anchor, we should mention.
Did you have that voice too?
He did. I will say, I was not surprised when I saw him later on television, because at that camp, he was like, he just had the natural talent.
So let me ask the $1 million question. What CPS school did you go to?
We didn't go to CPS.
Oh, what? Wait, what?
Burbs, Southland.
Yeah. And the camp was actually at Bradley University. So it's one of those summer for a week. You go down there, you learn broadcasting and all that good stuff.
I remember she was sharp and pretty or whatever. I sent you like a note. This
was
before Facebook or whatever.
Was it?
Yeah, it was before Facebook, so it was an email. I sent a little note because I was like, yeah, I got to keep it. And then I didn't keep it. I didn't follow through. The brother didn't follow through. Isn't that right?
Hey, man.
No.
Yeah, I gotta find that note.
Oh, let me tell you. So was it one of those notes like one of them, them check the box notes? Oh, wait a minute. Y'all was in the electronic age. I was writing stuff.
Do you like me or do you like
Not even. It was. I'm sure it was about the news. I didn't the game back then.
So that's what he was good. He was a standout from the camp. I would definitely say.
And he was a complete gentleman, right? Because Chima,
Come on, now.
Look, come on, looked up like, hey man,
What?
you was in high school. You be like, in high school, everybody in high school think they got. I didn't have no game in high school actually, but I used to try. Can I tell y'all about my high school game? You know where it came from? Do you know where all of my high school game came from? The movie Purple Rain. I thought I was a combination.
Did you dress? What were you wearing?
Hold on. I thought I was a combination of Prince and Morris Day. So at every time I tried to talk to a girl, I would stare at her for an hour, like how Prince used to do, and then I would come up and be like, I would use one of them. What did I?
You have to purify yourself.
You have to come here, baby. You got to purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
You didn't have a Jerry curl, did you?
No, my parents would not let me get a Jerry curl, but boy, I wanted to. But can I tell y'all what? Could you want to talk about an identity crisis? Because I used to, you know how like on those cartoons when you like the little mouse goes and he sees himself as like this big thing. I used to looking out. My mom had a purple raincoat that was long, and my old man had a guitar, and I would go stand in the mirror with like these white shirts
This is a disaster.
and pretend like I was Prince. And yeah, y'all. I'm just telling you, all my gang came from Purple Rain. Hey, y'all, it is the WVON Morning Show. Tamon Bradley, Amara Enya, Kimberly are going in the studio. Y'all, we got a lot going on. So, y'all was talking about the Southland. Did y'all see this story about Pembroke? About the fake police officer in Pembroke? Tamon, Kim, you saw the story. Can you give me a little backup on it?
This guy is so weird because he's been arrested, but I'm not sure if he was arrested for impersonating a police officer or impersonating a commissioner of a fake police department.
So, yeah.
It's really a strange story.
So check it out. In the Chicago Sun-Times today, they report the story of Robert Ellis. Robert Ellis is apparently has a history of impersonating being a police officer, right? And so in this impersonation, this guy, check this out. He not only impersonated a police officer, he impersonated being the chief of police of a fake police department. Okay, y'all, real talk. We got a problem here. Now and then he blamed the racist Kankakee police department for outing him. But the fact of the matter is, y'all, Pembroke, now I don't know what y'all know about Pembroke, but Pembroke has got to be, if not Robbins and Pembroke, I think Pembroke makes Robbins look rich. It is one of the poorest suburbs. Is it in Will County?
It's in Will County, between north of Kankakee, a little bit north of Kankakee. It has a farming history also. So if you know black farmers, there are several black farmers in the Pembroke area. But it is definitely, if you go there, it will remind you of going to the Delta in Mississippi.
Y'all, how does this happen? Now check this out. This guy was faking as the police chief.
He had a badge.
He had a badge, but he also had an electronic monitoring device.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
So he was under house arrest?
Yes. So then he got arrested as a police. My thing here is he was arrested multiple times. So apparently he started up a railroad police in Harvey, right, with his own railroad tracks. And his own, look, y'all are looking like, right, I'm saying.
What amazed, he when the judge released him this time, they released him on the saying that he could stay out as long as he stays in his West Englewood home. That just makes it even stranger.
Why?
Well, I guess.
I mean, if he ain't really a police officer, if he impersonate, well, you know what I'm saying, he making up everything. Why not make up the address? You know, I wonder, how do we get to a point like this, right? And you know, his history goes back to the badge buying scandal. Do you guys remember that scandal that was occurring back in the early 2000s, where you could go to suburban villages? I think I can't remember who the police chief was, but you could literally buy a badge and buy a gun.
So my question though is, what was the incentive? If it's not money, then there seems to be maybe some mental illness in that. I mean, to continuously misrepresent yourself as a sworn officer and you're not. There was an incident where there was the young man that was pretending to be a doctor. I don't know if you could.
Okay, was he trying to be a gynecologist?
He was a young guy
Yeah, you know what? We'll talk about it when he comes back. It's the Talk of Chicago, 1690. He was trying to play doctor. It's the Talk of Chicago, for real.
He's trying to be a surgeon or something.
and he kept going into the hospital, and he had the coat on and everything. He was a young guy.
There was a cop that did. There was a kid that kept doing that with the cops too.
He started off as one of the kid cops or what have you, and he just kept becoming a police officer over and over again, as of just a few years ago.
So I'm gonna work in this next one. I'm gonna also work in the Monterey security, stealing from Archdiocese. Then you can start to bring in the crime stats, and then we can go to crime, Chicago, what's going on, and I think we can expand that, because I think then you start talking about them carjackings that are going downtown, because I think the conversation becomes, who's saying crime is down? Based on what stats? right? Then we got this shot spotter thing that they're
We'll have to
talking
get into
about
that, yeah.
that has.
Talk about the $10 million investment by Ken Griffin,
Right.
what that's going toward.
So
Yeah.
I think so. This hour is going into all of that. So
Let's do
feel
it.
free to go,
Let's do it.
and we just take it where it goes.
That's
All
okay.
right?
City Hall's gonna call. They don't like when you talk about this.
Really? Well, City Hall stopped calling around here. They done been stopped calling.
Call me.
They,
They call me.
City Hall, see, they be like, you know what?
They don't like when I go off and do the crime numbers on my own. They like when the handout
Rip
for the number.
Okay, so talk to me about being a political reporter in Chicago. Like, just what have you observed? Talk to me about black political power as you've seen it from the perspective of a.
Well, so I would say first of all, in terms of being a political reporter in this town, it's tough because you have to know a lot. You got to know Springfield, which I've spent a lot of time focused on with the budget crisis. It was exactly 2 years ago where I wanted to aggressively start covering that, and so I tried to figure that out a little bit. Then there's City Hall, where God bless the Sun-Times and the Tribune folks who are regularly down there. I can't be down there every day. I try to go to the city council big meeting once a month, and I'm lost. You know, you sort of get your couple people that you talk to that tell you stuff, and then the mayor always takes questions on that day of the council meeting. But that one, I'm still trying to figure that out. And then of course you got to know the campaigns. You got to talk to the consultants. You know, you got to talk to ordinary people too to make sure that you're not just talking to people that are going based on stats and polls and whatnot. And so it's knowing a lot. It's picking and choosing what you want to prioritize. I'm usually off Mondays and Tuesdays except for when I really need to work. And so Friday it's a little bit slower, so I'll pick something I want to do, which is kind of fun. Or an interview. I might, for example, like Robin Kelly. I had been talking to her office for a while. I wanted to do something with her, and then I ended up talking, and we'll talk about it when we're back on air. The Good Kids Mad City folks who had a lot to say, ended up profiling them. Again, that's the kind of story you're not going to ordinarily.
Mad City, they're
I'll tell you all about it on air. Yeah.
Okay.
But so in terms of black power, look, there are black elected officials in this city, and but you kind of have to toe the line. So the county board, right? So Tony Preckwinkle, is in charge, basically the whole Democratic Party, but especially the county board. So if you're someone like Richard Boykin who's saying, hey, what's going on with this violence on the South and West Side, you can say that, but to a point. You can't be, oh my God, where's the mayor of Chicago? You can't be on the attack. You can't be going against what the establishment wants, else they'll run a candidate against you and get rid of you. And so, and that's what happened to him. And so, I don't see a lot of independence in terms of, this is my base, I'm about these people. It's more loyalty to the party. And there's some people who are going to criticize me for saying that. But that's what I've observed.
Woo!
What's this?
So much. Oh yes, I'm the great pretender. Yes, I'm the great pretender. Woo! Woo! You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. My man, Charles Thomas, you know what, y'all? He's out for the week, but sitting in for him will be Kimberly Agoin. She's in with us all week. Plus, today we got Tamon Bradley, as well as She's Yo Quick. That's right. Amara in the building. And y'all, before we went to break, we were talking about this fake police and Robert Ellis. Seems like I want to know who can we trust. Then but before I go, I want to take this call because I got a caller on the line. Let's go to Gordon. Gordon, you have something. You're on the Talk Chicago 1690.
Yeah, I was just hearing about. I grew up with this cat, man. This dude is like super intelligent, and in grammar school, in middle school, he actually drew up plans for an atomic weapon. And they said it would work if he had the stuff to do it with. He ain't no dummy. He's just kind of crazy, I guess. I haven't seen him since 8th grade. But, it's just, you walking around with all kinds, man.
Sound like Sheldon Cooper.
Hey man, I don't know Sheldon, but I tell you this. I was reading the story and I was just saying that it seemed like the guy, he actually, in Harvey, I think his police department, his railroad police was legit. No, he actually had a locomotive and he had a section of track. I feel like this guy went in and found all the rules to create a police department and said, well, you can't prove I ain't.
It was private security. That's what he had, a private security.
Ooh, Lord. Hey, y'all, but speaking of private security, perfect segue. Hey, y'all. Okay, so every time I hear these stories, I always be like, please, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please. Don't let it be a black person. Please. Did y'all hear the story about the archdiocese getting robbed? That the Holy Name Cathedral, somebody was dipping in the offerings? Did y'all hear that story?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, y'all, 2 people got caught robbing. First of all, who steals from the church? And then you're going to go steal from the holy, the holiest of the holy white churches in the whole city. First of all, the Catholic police, the police. So, Tamon, do you have that story? Do you know the story about the 2 guys that got caught? Robin, you no? Okay. I don't want no parts. Go ahead, Kim.
The 2 guys who got caught, they work for Monterey Security. They have been actively stealing that we know of since January or so. The African-American guy, one is African-American, one is Latino. The African-American guy got fired a little bit ago, and he was still going back to the church, so he had no reason to be in the church. The Latino just got fired. And it's Monterey, that's troubling in and of itself, because Monterey Security has been in the news for years now, hiring criminals, doing everything they can, but you do know that there are all kinds of political implications with Monterey.
Yeah, actually, so
Becky Carroll.
See, yeah, so funny you said that. So check this out. Artemio Calderon and Jarrell Patterson were both not convicted, but both were caught stealing from Holy Name Cathedral. Basically, what they were doing was they were working security they were hired by Monterey Security, who had the contract to provide security for Holy Name Cathedral. They were going in after church and going into the safe room and getting the money and taking the money and stealing it. They stole $100,000 over the course of 3 months. Now, one of the brothers was fired. I do need to point out something though in the newspaper. Did y'all notice how they talked about the Latino dude?
He's married.
He's married with a family and kid and working a job.
Another job.
Right.
He's working at Men's Warehouse.
But y'all dang, seriously, how you get robbed by your own security? What's up with that?
Monterey is a mess. Right now, White Sox are trying to think about whether or not they are going to contract with them again. I think the Bears are thinking about whether they're going to contract with them again. Becky Carroll, represented by Becky Carroll, who is Rahm Emanuel's political operative, and she already has come out with her statement. But you know what, Maze? There's another connection.
What's up?
Anna Valencia's husband, our city clerk, Anna Valencia's husband, jumped in some time ago when Monterey was having issues. His name is Ray Cosme. He was hired
you going
by
deep?
Monterey they were haggling over an audit. So they've had an outside audit trying to figure out what's going on with Monterey. Monterey is hooked up in the city council. They're trying to hold on to this contract, but it's El Stinko and Stinko.
So I'm gonna
Might need a WGN investigator.
Can I tell you?
That's not my lane, but
Can I tell you what? So I'm gonna tell you what. This is the story that nobody really wanted to talk about. I'm gonna tell you that this is really probably the beginning. I think what Kimberly Goen just gave you is the beginnings of why you saw what was happening going on over in the city clerk's office. And you saw Faisal Khan started tickling this story, and that's when he started to have a lot of issues. I'm going to tell you that there's something stinky in the pinky, as my girl just said. Because I'm telling you guys, but I guess my question becomes, when your security robs you, when you're robbed from your security, who can you trust? Right? And then Tamon, you tell me you came in here all charged up this morning talking about, I got the new crime stats and crime is down. I'm like, where in the hell? Where you get that information from?
I got this from the Chicago Police Department.
Oh, yeah.
Chicago has seen a 22.3% reduction in murders, a 26.5% reduction in shootings compared to the same period in 2017. April saw 29.3% fewer shooting incidents and 20.8 fewer murders than last year. Citywide, robberies are down 14% year to date. Auto thefts are down 14%. Total citywide crime down 12%. This is from the Chicago Police Department. They have recovered 2,500 illegal guns, and they have made 1,100 fewer arrests. We know that over the weekend, 100 new officers were deployed. There was some anti-carjacking technology that was deployed. Officers now having computers on the cars to scan license plates to be able to check. But here's the thing, Mace. Here's the thing, because I recently talked to some high school students from Good Kids Mad City, and they're so sharp. They helped get that trauma center there on the south side. And I basically asked them, I told them, like, look, the police say that the stats indicate that crime is down. And so I asked them, do you feel safer? And they're like, huh? I'm like, do you feel safer? They're like, no, I don't feel safer. More cops don't make me feel safer.
Ooh.
So whereas the numbers show that the crime is down, do people really feel safer? That's a question for the audience.
I think we'll talk about that. Amar, go ahead real quick because we got to go to break.
I just give a shout out to Good Kids Mad City and Brother Kofi, who's been working with these young people who are articulating their own reality for the city of Chicago.
Hey y'all, it's the Talk Chicago 1690. We're going to talk about it when we come back. Are we really safer? Should we really be believing these numbers? Man, who you tell me gave me those numbers? I didn't say that told us that Laquan McDonald's shooting was justified. We trust them? We'll talk about it when we come back.
CPD numbers.
Yeah. All right. It's about to get in there. So, crime numbers. So, guys, do you feel safer? I'm going to tell you what. Yesterday when I was at City Club, them white folks was talking about, did you see the shootings downtown? I mean, they were a buzz.
Gold Coast carjacking spree.
They were a buzz, like, I mean, we've lost total control. Hey, y'all, I'm telling you, them shootings downtown, y'all that bullet.
That rattled people. The carjack, I'm South Loop. The carjackers are just man, yeah.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, white folks be like, man, wait. I'm going to tell you what, black folks be like, wait, y'all had a shooting downtown? Think about this. Why y'all think they canceled that GCI concert? They was like, and the mayor had all them people in town. He like, hell no. Y'all finna have Lil Uzi and Lil Murder around here? Bust that. Y'all not finna have all the mayors in town and y'all shoot, and it's a shooting downtown? Plus y'all had the police killed them? Now mind you.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. You know damn well. The Ron, look, Clear Channel, he called Ari up like, hey, yo.
Shut her down.
Look, I'm telling you, he called Ari straight up like, hey, Ari, no, you got these niggas around here about to do what? You said Lil Uzi, Lil Murder, right? You know, it'd be like, the bill is Lil Uzi, Lil Murder, shut your mama dead, right? Why do I feel like C. Dolores Tucker sometimes nowadays?
Oh my gosh.
These kids be singing Percocet. I mean, it's a song about Percocet.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
it's literally like,
Yes. They sing about drugs.
right? Like, I mean, Dr.
They sing about sex. I
Yes.
can't say the word. There's a 4-letter word and drink and the 4-letter word. Chris Brown. How do they deal with their feelings? Like real talk. Like we had R&B. Like you could Brian McKnight all of in your feelings, but they don't.
No, I'd be like,
they be on drugs.
and they be drugs. Right? Oh my God.
I want to know how millennials deal with their stuff.
Can I ask?
Because
They act
we had
out.
stuff to deal with.
Act out.
Man, I had Keith Sweat. Let me tell y'all. I still say to this
Well,
day.
you wasn't talking about being sad.
No, but you crazy? Why me? Why me? Let me tell you.
I'm talking about Jagged Edge, 112. You know.
I see. I was the Al B. Short era, right? I was grown by the time you talk about 112. I was grown. I had kids and shit. Like, excuse me, I had kids. I was like 112. I was like Al B. Short, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, I don't. It's the radio. No, I don't. You know, it's tough. Cardi B, she. You know,
Hey man, I love Cardi B.
she
I
was talking
do.
about Jenna with me or something. What's that song?
Can I tell you what though? I don't know how. Like I don't. What is courtship like though these days?
Oh God.
Like what is? I cannot imagine what courtship is. I cannot imagine what courtship would be like now, because fundamentally, I just feel like there's no even lesson. There's nobody even look at me. There is no smooth R&B guy,
No.
right? It's like even the R&B guy is like Chris Brown, like man, I'm a blah 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 blah. They be singing like think about.
Chris skips the romance. He goes right to let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, think about
You're
Bobby
right, there is
Brown.
no recording.
Bobby Brown was the bad boy. He had tenderoni, right? Like, come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Sure.
Man.
What up, Gene? Drake sensitive. See,
Drake very sensitive. Drake, you know, I remember not the mixtape, but the first album. When I first heard it, it's very good, and I thought he made this for women. He's trying to be all sensitive, like he's got his man base, but he also has women. Like that's definitely it's
Yeah, there was
strategic.
a comment that was made that it's not courtship anymore. It's just a hookup. So there's the hookup.
Netflix and chill, baby.
Right. Or
Let me
the-
tell you.
yeah, sliding in someone's DMs. I guess that's the courtship these
Yeah.
days.
There you
Man,
go. There
see?
you go.
Not that I would know anything about that.
No.
So tomorrow when we come back,
Yo.
let's have you hit the crime stats again. Then we'll pose as Chicago safer. Then we'll come to you, Mad City, Mad Kids.
Good city.
Kim,
Good
good
kids,
city.
Mad city.
Right, and we'll roll with that conversation. You all have these people looking. If I were you, I would say hello to them. Tamon, you know you got that official voice. You should probably speak to some of these people on the feed. Just say hi to them, those names that are rolling up, because they like people be like, did you say my name? Is that the man from Channel 9? He said me. And you know you got that official voice.
Yes.
I just need to tell y'all, shout out to all the people from Lions Den who came to the City Club yesterday. Thank you very much. I'm telling y'all, that was a rowdy City Club yesterday.
I saw snippets of the talk.
Oh, some people was looking like, did he just say that? See, there you go again. I said we value add. So y'all telling us, so the white folks get, so the handicapped disabled, they got their perks. These people get their perks. Y'all give us the prisons, and we supposed to be happy.
I completely agree with that point. I agree with the point that you made.
What?
That when it comes to investments, it was the big sell for us was that reentry individuals coming back from prison would have this ID,
Right.
which is fine, but that shouldn't be the selling point.
But that's how, when you want to talk to black people about what's something good for them, they gonna go to the prison shit, right? Like as if everybody black only empathizes with prison. Like if you were smart and you were trying to market that to me, you know what I would say? I would say, Mace, you now carry an iPhone and you wear you have an Apple ID. Don't treat me like I care about all about prison. Say, man, you could condense all this stuff in your wallet and you only have to carry one piece. Right. If it was me, right? If it was really about that, like, but
that's what they always do. The same way when we talk about investments is related to the crime stats. The only investments that we get are in more police or police infrastructure or a new police training center when we're talking about investments in community. So whenever it comes to black people, the only investments or the only marketing is about something having to do with criminal justice system. I think that's problematic.
I mean, I think the answer to always dealing with black folks is crime, poverty. there is never really a conversation about the economic benefits of us. I'm telling you, even when they was talking about it yesterday, they were like, certain people are going to get discounts to go to the museum. Certain people are going to get discounts to go to pharmaceutical. And they was like, and
Black person on there was specifically for that
for
population.
prisons, right? And
That's
so,
all she was there for.
and you talk, so I felt like when they said, and we got the prisons,
Yeah.
I felt like being the only black kid in my class when we talk about slavery and all the white kids turn around and look at me. That's exactly how I felt when they talked about the prisons. All right, we're back. I'm coming to you. Loaded, cock, and aim and shoot. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Uncle Charles is out for the week, but sitting in for him is Kimberly Agoin. But not only do we have Kimberly Agoin, we got Channel 9's weekend anchor and political reporter. That's right, Tamon Bradley. Y'all know he grew up in the Southland. He don't mind that extra official voice, right? Because the extra official voice might make you think something different. But this brother, you know what? You know, you see people on TV and they all official, you don't be realizing that they down for real. To mine, you know, it's like you down for real, man. Like, you're like a real brother, man.
I don't just play one on TV.
You don't just play one on TV, man. You don't just play one on TV. And we also have, now, you know how I get on Tuesdays when I start singing, she's your queen. That's right, because Amara Inya is in the building. Now, before we move on, because Tamon, I want you to go to those crime stats. Hey, Annette, yesterday, you told us about the little brown doggy. Annette, you know what I'm saying. We want to know what happened. Have we found a home for the little brown dog? For those of you that don't know, Annette is a dog lover, and she saw a little big doggy walking by 87th and the damn Ryan. The dog rescue. What's old boy who comes on Channel 9 that does the Pedro or whatever his name is, the dog? You another dog whisperer. You say my sister. Why don't you just... And it's a... You know how, I gotta, you know me, right? I just open the door. I say he could, it only be like TV. You know how, like, don't you see? No, I'm just saying, you know how you see on TV the dog be 3 million miles away and he get on the elevator, he get on the train, he do everything, and then you all be like, and he come, you know, when he come running up and everybody be like, oh, he came home. I bet, no, that's not gonna happen. You know that dog walk around the south side, somebody be like, how much can I get for him? So look, so y'all, if y'all lost a little brown dog around 87th and the damn Ryan, call 773-591-1690. Okay, little dog. You know, I told you my auntie had a dog named King. That dog never saw the inside of a house. The blizzard of 79 came. That dog never saw the inside of a house. Let me stop. All right, y'all. I know, man. Look, y'all gonna have, they don't care about no black people, but I talk about a dog being outside cold. Look, Peter, everybody gonna be on me. All right, look, y'all. Before we went to break, Tamon, you started laying out the official crime stats. Give them to me one more time.
From the Chicago Police Department, they say to date, Chicago has seen 22% fewer murders and 26% fewer shootings compared to the same period this year. These are the April crime numbers, so through April. So April of this year saw 29% fewer shootings, 20% fewer murders. Citywide robberies are down 14% year to date. Citywide auto thefts are down 14% year to date. That is from the Chicago Police Department. We know over the weekend 100 new officers hit the streets.
Do we see a picture? Because how many of them was black? I bet no. We We ain't been seeing a lot of pictures of the new police rollouts. What's up with that?
So there were some issues with the graduating classes too, in terms of diversity, and that was in spite of the recruitment efforts that they had put forth to recruit particularly black individuals to become officers, and they did not do so well in the numbers. So it's no surprise that they're not talking about what those new police officers, the demographic or the ethnicity of those new police officers.
But they always blame that on drug testing and things like that. Like the black people can't pass the
I thought they
exam.
said you could smoke a little weed now. I thought
I
they
missed
said
that memo.
I don't remember they dropped. No, they did. I'm telling you.
Really?
One of the things they did. You what? Oh, well, they said that you could drop the. I thought that they dropped the criminal, or not the criminal. I thought you could have a conviction or not a conviction. Something they did to make
No,
sure
I'm
that they
talking
was.
about actual drops. Like you have to be tested when you're entering the
Not
academy?
probably.
You see what I'm saying? And like usually they're saying, like they say, for every position that black people can't get, truck driving, et cetera, is because we can't pass drug tests
the hair follicle test.
and that type of thing.
Well, so to the crime numbers, then the question becomes, are we seeing these improvements, right? So CPD tells us that they're making the city safer. Do you feel safer?
Do you feel safer? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, one thing that we have to think about is they're comparing these numbers to statistics from last year, which were extraordinarily high, right? So if we look at the trend year after year, these numbers are still very high. So what they're taking is the worst that we had last year and comparing it to this year. Number two, they're saying that we have to notice the language that they're using about why the numbers are dropping. So they're talking about the increase of police officers, they're talking about the investments in these crime statistics, and that's a very dangerous thing. One, because if you can recall a few years ago, there was a whole scandal because they were fudging their crime numbers. They were reclassifying homicides as something else. So there was no integrity about the crime stats that they were reporting, because the whole point was to make it look as though crime was down and the police were doing a wonderful job, and that wasn't actually the case.
Come on, man. I'm saying with those numbers, though, man, you got to feel safer. I mean, should the mayor's doing this? I mean, that seems to me like the press release tells me that the mayor is doing an excellent job.
So if we're talking murders, okay, so according to CPD, through April of this year, 146 murders. Last year, 188. 2016, 181. That's still a lot of murders. That's 40 fewer. That's still a lot of murders.
What's not a lot of murders? Like what?
Well, none, right? Any murder is too many, right?
So
Shootings last year through April, 245. This year, 173.
So y'all, talk to me about crime in Chicago, and I don't seem to feel safer. It says, as a matter of fact, I feel like we're losing control. Like these shootings and carjackings downtown. I know we got a tale of two
Gold
cities,
Coast.
Right.
but
Last
you
week,
think
Gold Coast carjacking spree.
about that.
Shots fired.
Yeah, you shouldn't be asking us if we necessarily feel safer, because black people pretty much get shot anywhere in the city. But you should be asking that population that lives in the Gold Coast or River North. We're like, this has never happened. The mayor has to do something about this because our neighborhood is being threatened. I mean, that's a real issue, and that's the reason. I used to work for the city. If you've ever worked for a city department, you have to question any number that they give you, because I've seen what they do with numbers. They can make a number, make a report look any kind of way. I remember they were trying to get their diversity numbers up for upper level management, and what they did was just bump up a whole level of lower management and say, you're upper management now, and the numbers went up. So when you're looking at these crime numbers, you have got to definitely be suspicious.
So y'all, WVON listeners, do you feel safer? I'm gonna tell you this. I feel like there are shootings in neighborhoods, and I don't want to minimize the shootings that occur in the black neighborhoods. I do not. I believe that is a reality of every day. I think that downtown, the Loop, the Gold Coast, is the shining diamond in the crown of Chicago, by all accounts. That's why they invest so much. That's why so much money goes there. And if you think about the central business district, if this was to happen in New York, you would expect that it was a terrorist threat and they would be on high alert. There would be police on every corner. So could you imagine a shooting on Madison Avenue in New York? And so my question is, do we really believe that? Do Chicagoans feel safer? I can't believe there would never be a point, in my estimation, that under Mayor Daley would there be shootings downtown. If it wasn't, there'd be a border. You thought there'd be a border patrol to get through. Look, it's the Talk of Chicago. We'll be back after traffic and the weather. We'll take your calls. Plus, we'll talk to Amara, Kim, and Tamar. Thank you on the door, Malaje. I'm learning.
It's not a margin of error. It's not a margin of
Somebody
error.
says the margin.
Yeah, it's not a
there's no
margin of error.
It is a clear.
That's not, I don't think you understood what I was saying.
Manipulation of the numbers.
Thank you.
And reclassifying and quite frankly lying about the numbers
Yeah.
to present a
Tell Howard, so you speak to Howard.
Well, you're never provided the comprehensive breakdown. I remember one
No.
time I was a debate about whether or not overall crime was down, the carjackings and violent assault or whatever. And they said, yeah, no, this was in December, crime is down 17%. I'm like, what does that mean? Huh?
Yeah, in relation to
what?
what?
Tell me what that is.
Where?
What is that?
Yeah,
Like,
because
what
if
is
you
that?
actually break down the stats and you go to the location and you start to look at the geography of where the shootings happen, you might find that there's no reason to feel safer because the numbers haven't gone down in those particular areas. So you get a very shallow, very one-dimensional set of numbers that are used to paint a certain picture. But if you do even one layer of digging, you realize that this is some BS.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're going to talk about this in the next hour, but it's almost election time. So we have to present this safety.
Everything,
Oh, yeah.
every day, something new.
That's-
is
Oh, yeah,
happening.
yep.
He's, the city is now safe.
We're
It's
cleaning up
solved.
everything that we didn't
Exactly.
care about the
For the
last
last
30
7
years.
years.
But I mean, no, because he started hitting it a little hard in that 2014 too. I mean,
Yeah,
Oh,
and we
it's
lead
so
up to another
laughable.
election cycle. So everything is fantastic now. I mean, we're
It's
living
gonna
in
be great.
utopia.
Oh, it's amazing.
Amazing how those numbers change right around.
From now until next week.
Exactly.
Safest city in America.
That'll be the headline. The funny thing is, I wouldn't even be surprised if it was like, Chicago now the third safest city.
no, don't you remember last year we were the safest city in the world? We literally were. I mean, I'm like, where were you looking? How do you ignore that? What was that 1 month? Was it May?
Yeah.
Where we just broke every record
Yeah.
and everyone's like, oh, we gotta do something about
yeah,
this.
Yeah.
Tennille said, I can't wait until we get to the part of election time when the gas prices go down.
The anonymous sources are saying.
I love your anonymous sources, Maze.
Good morning, Maze. My anonymous comment is: if Bridget Gaynor enters the race, Rom is dead. Won't make the runoff. Queen of the Green Team will take white base.
I'm excited
We are
about
all
Bridget.
hoping she does. His only hope is the Latino base. You gotta watch that group because they may have no. Ooh, wait, I'm telling you, the
Was she
text
at
from the
Ida?
people that I'll be getting some days, I'll be like,
She was at Ida's Legacy, that luncheon, and I got a chance to talk to her real quick, like, you came on WVON. She's like, oh yeah, and we're gonna wanna talk to you a lot
My
about coming
way.
big things. I'm like, okay.
better way, a better way, better way.
Uncle Charles would be upset at this one. He would not understand this one.
Baller, Shakala. You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Y'all, we got a packed house in the building today. That's right. Uncle Charles is, he's taking a little week off. In his place, we got Kimberly going. She's sitting in. But on top of that, we have WGN Channel 9 political reporter and weekend anchor, Come on, Bradley. And let me tell y'all, you know how I do on Tuesdays when I get to She's Your Queen. You know what? That means that Amara Inya is in the house. Hey, y'all, the phone lines are lit up, but we are asking this question. Tamar gave us the stats, says that crime is down all around in the city of Chicago. But for some reason, I just something just ain't right. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's see. Andre, you on the top of Chicago, 1690. Am I crazy, or does things don't just seem right with these crime stats? Andre.
How you doing? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
And tomorrow, Bradley, I watch you all the time. Yeah, I'm a sergeant that's on disability. I live right down the street from Ron Emanuel, and we had a last month 150 robberies, and over here we had. And in his neighborhood, we have people being carjacked, hold up with guns just at nighttime, breaking, rapes, all on the north side. The white people are just astonished in his neighborhood. They want him out. They want him out. And I have to say, for the crimes that are committed, my partner, they have a lot of family members on the police department. That crime statistic, like that other lady said, is, well, he make up his own crime statistic. If you ask any all the other cops out there, they would tell you how bad it really is out there. So I wouldn't buy that. But I have to say this last because I'm with I forgot his name. He's come on at night. Mark Wallace with the 10 by 10 to win. There's 640,000 voters that's registered in Chicago. We had 50 groups get together, and white people, we all had got together Friday. They go all over the city. We have a coalition.
Andre, that is right. 10 by 10 to win. What's up, Kim?
No, I'm thinking everything he's saying sounds right. You need to do your listening tour up there. Make sure you take your listening tour right on up to the north side and all over. But see, here's the thing. We have been learning here in Chicago that if it's not just shooting straight in the middle of the street, it's okay. There are lots of burglaries, robberies happening in all of these communities.
Somebody was stabbed by the truck, get off the train.
His own kid was robbed right on his street.
His kid.
Okay, well, we're not going to go into that.
I heard you know what? Let me stop. Riri, you on the top of Chicago, 1690.
Yeah, I just wanted to say about the blacks not passing the drug test. Okay, when you look in the dispensaries and they show what's going on in the dispensary, everybody in there is white. But the white people passing the drug test. The variable is putting more blacks on the police force. Why? It's working.
Let's go to Anthony. Anthony, you're on the top of Chicago, 1690.
Hello, how are you?
Great.
Good morning.
Anthony, do you feel safer, man? I'm telling you. Tamar just gave us the reports. He's an official, classically trained journalist. He is telling us right now the people say that the crime is down.
No, I don't feel safe, man. Remember about a week ago Sunday, you were talking about white folks walking down 67th Street?
Yep.
Yeah, well, at the same time, by 11 o'clock, there was a gang of them walking down 63rd Street also. I don't know what they're doing, man, but I feel scared when I see them. And the first thing that came to me was fighting.
I would tell you.
I started thinking nets and chains and all that nonsense.
That's like the first scene from Get Out, right?
I am too old to be going out to Dixmoor trying to reestablish myself looking for water because they're going to cut the water off out there.
Man, look, man, I'm going to tell you, I do. When I see a white boy get on the elevator, if it's like 5 black folks, I'm getting off. White boy get on the elevator. I try to make the white folks feel as uncomfortable as they be trying to play us. Y'all, I don't know. I don't feel safer. Am I crazy? Amara, you feel safer? You believe that?
No, I mean, I feel, where I live, I'm good either way. Like,
That's because she's your queen. You know, they be like, you know, they start beating the drums. They start throwing the rose petals, the whole thing. You ain't your lion that on your jump.
What is this, velvet?
What is this? What is this, velvet?
No, but I mean, I think for us, the important thing is to, again, to be critical about the numbers that we're receiving, because the reality is, until we are honest about what crime actually is like in Chicago, we will do absolutely nothing to address the root causes of crime and violence. And quite frankly, it's not police. Police investments, if you add 1,000 more police, that's about 10 or $20 billion over the next 15, 20 years. What kinds of investments could we make that actually reduce violence, that have nothing to do with having police on the street and everything to do with investing in people and investing in neighborhoods?
You're so
And that's
damn
not
deep.
what we're doing.
You're so deep.
Yeah, I just have to
That's
say.
what I'm talking about.
But meanwhile, we have a crime problem. And so
No, we don't. It's dropping, man. Don't you see?
According to the statistics.
According to the statistics, just like Pat Camden used to be like, the black male fit the description. You know what? Hey, it's a Talk Chicago. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. But guess what? Amara, we're going to be talking to one of your people.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about the war on neighborhoods, a divided city. We'll be back after traffic news and the weather. All right, y'all. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I like those callers. That's great.
All right.
Did he call it? Is he on the line?
Yeah, he's on the
Okay,
call.
good.
So talk to me about this guy.
So
And
Ryan,
I'll let you take kind of the lead. I'll introduce it. You can take the lead on bringing out what's important.
okay. Yeah, so Ryan Lugalia Holland used to be here in Chicago. He's done a lot of work around criminal justice, around restorative justice, around neighborhood development and investment, and then working with young people. He's now in San Antonio running a program out there. He wrote this book, The War on Neighborhoods, to talk about what investment looks like and what destabilization looks like across the city of Chicago. And he's using real life examples from his experience actually working in the neighborhoods. I first met him in the Austin community on the west side. At the time, he was at the Field Museum, and then he was at the Adler School of Psychology. And we were really trying to put together just mechanisms to address, like restorative justice, mechanisms to restore communities and to invest in communities. And he was really instrumental in that. So he's written this book, and he features key neighborhoods in Chicago. He talks about what destabilization and disinvestment looks like, and what we can do about it.
Okay.
So I'm really excited.
So I'm a
We need to have him at City Club.
man. You know I ain't trying to have all that. You can't be having too much. Well, they invited me back today.
You can't tell the truth.
I'm sure they did. Because, sometimes they can't handle it.
All right, they can't handle. You can't handle the truth. But today is Gilbert Villegas and Rod Sawyer talking about contracts, and I'm gonna be like, I got a question. I got a question.
I saw that. Yeah.
Serious as cancer. Who can keep the average dancer hyper as a heart attack? Nobody smiling. Y'all expressing the rhymes that I'm styling. Right. Divided city. Y'all, can we do some Bill Cosby real quick? Cause everybody's like, what's up with the Bill Cosby? All right. Amara, Kim, Bill Cosby, go. I'm gonna go with you first, Amara, cause Kim, we talked about a little bit yesterday. Go.
I just think it's sad. I don't know. I think it's sad. I think he is a product of the times that he was in. I think people are having difficulty separating him from his character, from the character that he played on TV. But if we looked at him as a man, to me, it's not as much of a stretch about the allegations, right? And I don't think people get to that. I think we're thinking about his legacy, investing in HBCUs, the television programs, what is it? A Different World, Cosby Show, and that legacy, which is what it is. But he was also Bill Cosby the person, and he's not his character. And so people, I think, have to separate the persona from who he actually was. And to me, that's what makes it sad. I mean, all these years, and things caught up with him, it appears.
It's hard to talk about. I mean, Chappelle sort of, his Netflix got into that. It's just we don't want to go there. No, I mean it's one man who finally gets what he deserves, right? Mm-hmm. And But at the same time, that legacy is still intact, and you can't diminish that. You can't.
They're taking all this stuff off TV. I mean, like Bounce TV. Bounce said no more.
But how many
Cosby
people
Show.
already have the DVD?
I mean, I'm about to go buy it all because I don't want it to go away.
Yeah.
Like, I want to keep it.
The other thing that people are, I think, is rubbing people the wrong way is that how others are treated too. So there was the guy from Seventh Heaven, the father from Seventh
Stephen
Heaven,
Collins,
who was he was doing
molesting a 7-year-old girl.
Precisely. And I don't recall them taking Seventh Heaven.
They did for a second, then it was right back. It was like
Is that
no
on
amount of
there?
time.
That airs,
Right.
That's airing somewhere now?
Oh yeah, Seventh Heaven still airs. There's that division. That's like what I said yesterday about R. Kelly. There are a lot of people who are connected with R. Kelly. They got all the old CDs. I said, play them in your house if that's what you want to do. If you can't disconnect from it, I would never buy anything else from him. I wouldn't support anything of his.
So you don't listen to his song?
In the house, if it's Fiesta. I mean, but I'm not supporting him.
Do you listen to?
I'm not supporting him.
No,
I
never.
would get the Cosby Show. I get the whole. Yeah, I get the whole
Cosby
Cosby Show.
R. Kelly is like, you know, you say what you want, but if it's your daughter that's in that house with them, it becomes something else.
I'm not disputing that, but something like the Cosby Show. This man built a whole. You cannot negate the influence that he had on African Americans, not just in media, but just the number of people who wanted to go to Howard because they heard there was a Hillman.
Yes.
So, or the Greek system, they introduced a lot of that.
Yes.
So, and let's go back even further. He's one of the first black people to be on a television show where they weren't making him the black person. He was the star of the show. He was the star. I mean, he had his cohort or whatever, co-partner. So all of that, it was the Bill Cosby, the media guy who people grew up with. And you have to separate that. I think you do have to separate that from what he was doing in his life. His life was messed up. There is a pathology there, just looking at the women that he chose to do that with. He was having a lot of issues. So you can throw all of that away, but people are still gonna want to see the Cosby Show. I mean, well, a lot of people don't watch it now because they're so young. You know, you can't, you don't have to just throw everything away, but I would never support him more. I guess that's what I don't know.
I think I can make the separation between Cosby, the thing, and the criminal, and Cosby, the person. I feel like for me, it is the way the prosecution occurred. Right, it feels very OJ-ish to me. Like, nigga, we gonna get you regardless. And it was like, if he would have got on another case, like say they went to California and they did another trial and they got him, I feel like I wouldn't have had as much of an issue. I feel like this DA was like, I'm about to make my name, I'm about to get it. Then when I hear Gloria Alvarez saying he needs to put $100 million, it ain't really about the victims in my estimation. But then so I feel like there's a money component of it that we gotta act, that the lawyer is going after, so there's a financial gain to go after them. But you know, I was thinking as I try to put this in perspective for myself, you know what I thought of? I thought of Mr. in The Color Purple, right? I thought about how I felt about Mr. watching that movie, and I don't care if he was 90, I would have wanted them to get him, right? And I think that's kind of how I have to frame the Bill Cosby thing, where it's like it's the old molester that got away with it, but now I then look at what's the difference between him and Dennis Hastert.
That's what came to my mind. That's what came to
right?
my mind.
Like,
that's what I was thinking.
Y'all gotta get some yoga today. If I don't get no yoga, I'm kicking everybody out.
I have to do the yoga.
You gotta do some yoga. Oh yeah. Look, you got a brand? Y'all better get a clap. Y'all better do something. All right, and now, time for the baseball yoga. All right, we about to knock this one out the park. I'm about to get it. Y'all need the music. You ready, Sonya? I got no yoga on the other side of the table. Y'all better shake it. Go ahead, Kim got us some. Look, they got a brand, y'all. Look, the classically trained journalists, and y'all some non-dancers.
Classically trained journalist doesn't exist. Uncle Charles wouldn't do it.
You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Y'all know how we do at the top of every 8 o'clock hour. You know I gotta get my get my stretch on, get my yoga on, y'all. It is the WVON morning show, but on top of that, you know I do at the top of every 8 o'clock hour. Gotta say what's up to the WVON morning show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom? Y'all help her find a home for this little doggy. It's a little brown dog. 87 to the damn rain. Almost got on the expressway. She saved him in the nick of time, and now she wants to get him back to the owners. Now, you know we cannot fly the soul plane without the music conductor. That's right, the music conductor, Miss Sonia Escobar. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Thomas is not in the building today. He'll be out for the rest of the week. Filling in for him is Miss Kimberly Agoin. But y'all know what? We said we was going to get the studio crunk today. We was going to black it out. So not only did we get Kimberly going, we have WGN Channel 9 weekend anchor and political reporter Tamon Bradley. And y'all, even though he got that official voice, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm learning that y'all get the official voice, but you still got the brother behind the voice, right? Because I know you had to have that challenge. Well, you talk real proper. You talk like a white boy.
I heard that a lot growing up.
Guess what? Now they all watching you on TV like, boy, do it again.
But I'm quite aware that I'm black. I'm reminded of it every day living in the city.
And then, not only do we have Tamon Bradley in the building, but you know how I do. On Tuesdays, I got to get my sang on. She's your queen to be. That's right. Miss Amara Inya is in the building. And y'all check this out. Amara, you know, when you come in the building, I expect to be enlightened, uplifted, and maybe a little pissed off. Because I feel like every time you come around these parts, you always trying to make a brother read something. Right? I be like, can we get the audio book? Do they got an MP? Is it a movie? Jesus. And then you don't get like them thin books with the pictures. You know how you get the books with the pictures? And you be like, man, how many pictures so you can take out those for the numbers you read? Well, today, Amara has got another author for us. Ryan, how do you say that? Say that for me.
Ryan Lugalia Holland.
Now, Ryan is the author of War on Neighborhoods, Policing, Prison, and Punishment in a Divided City. Ryan, welcome to the WVON Morning Show.
Thank you, Maeve.
All right, so Ryan, talk to us about this book, The War on Neighborhoods.
Yeah, so what has been called the war on drugs for decades, the argument is really that was a war on neighborhoods. And so we focus just on the Austin community on the far west side, but there are neighborhoods across the south and west side that were affected by the so-called war on drugs. And when you look at, the consequence of that, you have, hundreds of thousands of people that have been sentenced to prison since the war on drugs started, just from Cook County. You have, violence continues while it's more peaceful in the north side, while it's more peaceful downtown on large parts of the south and west side. Everyone knows that violence has continued at really alarming rates. Addiction has continued at alarming rates, not just in the city, but in the suburbs. Suburban users still come into the city to buy their drugs. And even the price of drugs has gotten cheaper despite the so-called war on drugs. So when you look at the effect of that, meanwhile, in neighborhoods like Austin, schools are closed, mental health clinics are closed, resources are disappearing, and all our money, all our state investments have been going into incarceration, have been going into the criminal justice system, rather than going into community and economic development. So that's what we're calling the war on neighborhoods.
So, Ryan, it's good to have you on the show. And good to have been reunited with you last week when you were talking about the book. I want the listeners to be able to hear a little bit more about your specific experience. You and I met in the Austin community when I was the executive director of Austin Coming Together. And you've been doing some initial work in the community, particularly around youth and neighborhoods. Can you talk about your specific experience and some of the things that you saw as you were talking with community groups and as you were engaging community groups?
Absolutely. So I have a dual background as a researcher and a practitioner. So
My field was restorative justice and youth violence prevention. I lived in Chicago for 14 years, built violence prevention programs at the YMCA, built a program called Bridging the Divide that seeks to rebuild relationships between police and young people while also engaging police to keep young people out of the system. So that's my background. The research in the Austin neighborhood was talking with community residents, community leaders like Amara at the time, people coming back from prison, as well as police officers, juvenile court officials, and probation and parole officers. So the idea was to really get everyone's perspective on the problem. And what I saw, whether I was talking to someone who lived on, Adams, or I was talking to someone who worked at the juvenile detention center, everyone knows that there's a broken system right now. And the question is, how does it get fixed? But it was very clear, no matter whether it was your brother that was affected, you were locked up for 21 years, or you're the person casting the sentence, everyone across that spectrum knows that the system is not working.
And Ryan, Tamon Bradley here, what sort of community investment do you think we need to see in Chicago? The mayor has summer jobs, and there's community groups that offer opportunities. There's the Star Scholars program, where if you have a B average, you get access to city colleges of Chicago. That's something to help people. But what sort of programs do we need to see?
Come on, that is an awesome question. That's a really good question. And what we argue in the book is the solutions are there. People have built, Chicago is a city of resilient innovators, and people have built amazing programs, from jobs programs to after-school programs to trauma recovery programs. The solutions are there, but the funding that's happening is not at scale. And so if you look at something like Get in Chicago, which has invested around $34 million since it started years ago across the whole city, and compare that to what's going into a neighborhood like Austin every year. Every year in Austin, from 2005 to 2009, over $100 million was being spent on adult incarceration just for Austin, right? So we put out a website called Chicago's $1 Million Block. And you can go to it right now, and you can see incarceration spending by block across Chicago from that 2005 to 2009 period. So what we're saying is we're spending billions on fueling a broken system while we're spending, just millions on the solutions that many know to be working. So programs like READY in Chicago out of Heartland Alliance, I think, is a great example of how you can support those people most likely to be involved in violence and to give them both the accountability and the supports they need to actually stay out of the system, to stay out of the streets, and to turn their lives around. But it's really a question of scale. So what I want all listeners to understand is we can't settle for pennies on the dollar when, where most of the money is going is into a broken system.
Ryan, you talked about that website, $1 Million Blocks. That is an eye-opening. There are 5 communities in the city of Chicago in which we invest $500 million on policing and incarcerating every year. Very quickly, and I want to encourage you guys, go to that, because quite frankly, most of those they're Black and Latino neighborhoods. Ryan, tell people where they can find the book, and then Kim, we're going to go to you. Tell us where we can find the book.
Amazon.com. Just look up War on Neighborhoods, and it'll pop up.
All right, Kim, ask your question, and then we'll go to break.
Ryan, I'm very excited about your book, but I have a question. If we all know that what's happening with the over-policing, the overspending on incarceration is not working, and we know what the solutions are, why aren't we solving the problem?
So you know what, Ryan, I want you to think about that, and when we come back after traffic and weather, we'll get you the answer. It's Talk Chicago 1690.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up on the Talk of Chicago 1690.
So they literally spend $1 million locking people up on one block in Austin. I think it was maybe Laramie and Monroe or somewhere in that area. Literally spend $1 million just locking people up on that one block.
That site is so freaking eye-opening. You're like, literally, they can... when I looked at that, I was just like, that was just became worked into my speech, my script. There are 5. I said, how much would you say, when you ask Black people, how much would you need to invest annually in the Black community to help rebuild our community? If you say 100 million, people are like, oh my God, you know how much we could do with that 100 million? Did you know they invest $500 million a year in 5 black communities and we can't seem to get better. And people are like, no, they don't. And then you realize it's all in crime, prison. And even when we were talking about that city club and we talk about the freaking ID,
Yes.
again, the investment in black community is in jail.
Exactly. They see that as an investment. So $530 million in predominantly black communities as investment. But we know that what actually helps communities and what thriving communities have is economic investment. They have strong business climates, they have schools, they have infrastructure. None of that exists, yet when policymakers are rolling out programs of investment, it's always in the form of programs for reentry or police, increasing police, or increasing technology for police, but people are questioning why the circumstances in communities aren't improving. Well, you can spend $4 billion as a state in locking up individuals in the prison system. You can pay $35,000 per person to keep them in jail, but the idea of putting at least $100 million into a community seems to be an outlandish proposition. Our whole scale, our whole perspective is skewed, and it's why we're not demanding nor getting the kinds of investments that our communities need. Sorry for my soapbox.
No, it's not a soapbox. It's just as frustrating because we know what the issue is. We're all watching it, but how do you create the will? That's my whole thing. How do you get to?
I think even our elected officials are problematic because whenever they do their press
you
conference,
said
whenever
even.
they
are.
yes.
You said even.
And it's problematic because whenever they do a press conference or whenever they just unify on an issue, it's always about violence. It's always we need social programs for violence. We need something for violence. Okay, well, then that's all we're gonna get.
But can I say this? The other part is the most vociferous advocates that come to a ward office, they don't come talking about economics. They talk about, man, these Negroes are standing on my corner and I need them off. And so what the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I can tell you, having worked ward nights on Mondays, Fridays, being the chief of staff at 18th Ward Alderman and knowing what the issues are, nobody comes in, they come in about curb, gutter, city services. Nobody is talking economics, right? And so fundamentally, when black folks go into their ward office, that's what they're talking about. When the white boys come visit the ward office on ward night, they come in with a briefcase, right? With a plan to lay out what they want to do.
But is it because they have their basic needs met? See what I'm saying is, do their neighborhoods look like this? If you are constantly trying to fight against all problems that we have, all you're going to see is short term.
But I think if you're so this is probably going to be not cool, but I think that one of the things we have to do is, again, we keep looking for the government to save our damn neighborhoods. And fundamentally, when you go to the Jewish community, look, when they couldn't be on the Chicago Board of Trade, guess what they did? They started the Chicago Mercantile Exchange.
But did they fix their own streets though, Maze? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying when the people are coming in for the curbs and stuff, doing that, they're doing that because that's the office's job to.
Yeah, but I think that when you recognize that the real job of a city alderman is not to be the economic engine, the job of the city alderman is to pick up your freaking garbage and to deliver services. They have an elevated level when we start talking about city policy and things like that. But the fundamental job of an alderman, right, is really to make sure that the equitable distribution of city services. Now, that is where that's what their job is in the ward. Right. When we have a larger issue, when we start talking about these contracts and we start talking about building trades and things like that, that is systemic, that is policy that needs to be addressed at the ward level. But the average guy walking in and saying, man, I need a contract, that ain't the place to go to the alderman's office.
The economic investment.
Yeah, because I thought you just said that's what they're coming to. So the white boys are going to the office asking for.
There's not that economic. Hold on.
So we need to lobby. It seems like black businesses around the country and bring them to Chicago and encourage them.
How about the black? Let's not go get the ones from out of here. Let's do the ones that are here, and let's stop letting the same 6 people
get access to all the stuff.
The same 6 people block all the rest of us from getting the opportunity. So you think about how many black businesses were strangled because of our Afrostocracy. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. My man Charles Thomas is not in the studio today. He'll be out the rest of the week. Sitting in for him is Kimberly Agoin, but also in the building we have WGN Channel 9 political reporter and weekend anchor. That's right, he's sitting in the big seat. That is Tamon Bradley. Hey, y'all, we look forward to seeing you, the weeknight anchor. Right? I can't wait to see you, the weeknight anchor. We got to speak. Look, I won't get you no trouble. We speak it into existence. Hey, WGN. Black Chicago is watching for our man Tamon. Hey, don't make us.
Appreciate the support.
Hey man, you know what I'm saying? That's who we look for as our previous generation of, and let me tell this to the black listening audience. Right, so I have the benefit and the pleasure and the honor of having someone, a veteran journalist like Uncle Charles, be here for me. But what you've noticed is that you've seen the Charles Thomases, the Warner Saunderses, the Russ Ewings, all of those people that were icons in news for Black Chicago, moving, going out. And so as we have a new generation of people who I call narrators, people that are going to tell the story, who have the obligation to ensure that our story is included, we got to embrace them, right? We got to make sure that they got a way forward. So that is part of the reason that I wanted to make sure that Tamon was on with us, because in our generation, we got to start connecting the dots, because the things that they're voting on now are going to affect us. So, but on the live line, we have Ryan Lugalia Holland. And before we went to break, Kim, you had a question.
Yeah, I was just asking if we have all the data, we have all the evidence that what we're doing in predominantly Black communities is not working, wasting a lot of money, wasting a lot of people's lives. And we know what the solutions are. Where is the will? How do we build the will? And why aren't we doing these things now?
That one, Chicago has not been a city that values its neighborhoods, with the exception of Mayor Washington. You know, people have bought into the idea that you just invest in downtown and there's going to be trickle-down effects out to the southwest sides. That hasn't happened, right? And so there's a lot of talk right now about the $95 million going into the police training facility in Garfield Park. And that's important, and there should be talk about that. Meanwhile, there's $1 billion going into, the restoration of Union Station. That's $1 billion. So what could you do with $1 billion on the south side or the west side to end violence? And so, it's a similar pattern when you look at what happened to TIP dollars. A lot of money that belonged in the neighborhoods was being siphoned off to build up downtown, and the neighborhoods suffered as a result. So I think part of the problem is that the city does not have a history of investing deeply in its neighborhoods in the way that they need. And I think the other part of the problem is that we're addicted to punishment. And we have to understand that it's an addiction. Just like sugar is an addiction, just like, drugs and alcohol can be an addiction, we are addicted to the idea of punishing people. And when we don't invest in our neighborhoods and problems creep up, then that punishment addiction really comes up. And we're like, hey, well, there's a problem. We haven't invested in the way we need to solve it. So let's just punish it yet again, decade after decade. So that's why I think we haven't done it. To shift that, I think we need everybody, and especially with the upcoming mayoral election, to get behind a shared vision for neighborhood investment and restorative justice. And you really have to build the neighborhood infrastructure for restorative justice right now. And I think it doesn't matter who's running. Hopefully Amar is involved in that, but whoever's running, I think has to buy into that. Like every single candidate has to commit to neighborhood investment and into restorative justice infrastructure for communities. And I think if you get labor behind that, if you get influential organizing groups behind that, then you can really start to shift the dialogue.
Amar, I'm going to let you, we got about 2 more minutes to go, so I'm going to let you go ahead and close it out.
So Ryan, just final thoughts as people pick up the book. As hopefully people pick up the book on neighborhoods.
How many pages is it?
It's not that long. It's a quick read because it's so fascinating, and you're reading about the city that we live in, and the issues are real. So Ryan, just some final thoughts as you wrapped up this book. What are you hoping that people take away from it?
I want people to know that we created this problem and we can fix the problem. I want people to know that they can be a part of the solution, whether they are a police officer, whether they are a neighborhood leader, whether they were locked up for 30 years and they're trying to rebuild a relationship with their family, whether their parent was locked up for 30 years and they're trying to figure out, what to do with their own kids. Everybody has a part to play in this, and that's the story we try to tell. But part of that back to Kimberly's question, is about uniting behind a shared vision. So I want people to understand it's not just, there's this problem of mass incarceration, and there's this problem of violence, and there's this problem of addiction, and those things are connected. Those things are fueling one another. Until we shift the way that we respond to violence and shift the way we respond to addiction, they are going to continue, and we're going to continue misinvesting our resources. And everyone is affected by that problem, not just folks on the South and West Side, but I'm white. I want to, any white folks that are listening, we're affected by this too, because our cities are not as strong as they need to be, and increasingly there are major, there's an epidemic of addiction across America right now that's affecting every single person. So if we want to build a Chicago that's strong, we need neighborhoods that's strong. And if we want neighborhoods that are strong, then we have to invest in them, and we have to invest in restorative justice, and we have to invest in people that can rebuild communities that have been affected by decades of mass incarceration.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Ryan Lugalia Holland. He is the author of The War on Neighborhoods, Policing, Prison, and Punishment in a Divided City. Hey, y'all, it's a lot going on in the city of Chicago, and it is imperative. When I heard that the city of Chicago invests, the city of Chicago invests $300 million annually in the black community. We should be running around jumping through hoops, until you realize that that's on police, incarceration, parole, and probation. Think about what $300 million coming to our community could mean. But I really gotta ask y'all, are we still holding out hope for a white cavalry that ain't coming? Right? I think that this country has been built on the imprisonment and slavery of black folks, and just like he talked about punishment as an addiction, so is oppression. Hey, y'all, it's the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. That's why we do this on the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Amara and Kimberly are going to Mom Bradley, and we have been talking to Ryan Lugalia Holland. Ryan, man, you've been hanging around the West Side, though, because you said you was a white boy, and I was listening like, you got a little swag. You play basketball, too?
Those vocal intonations.
You've been around the brothers and sisters too much. We was all like, oh. Then he said, yeah, I'm white, too. I was like, oh, you tricked us, man. Yo, bro. Hey, you got some soul, hey, man. We going to keep an eye on you, Ryan. Don't you be on the West Side too much. All right, so talking Chicago, 1690. We appreciate you, man. We'll be back.
Live from the WVON newsroom, here's...
Choice is the song you want to hear?
No.
Oh.
Why don't you go do some R&B? You should R&B like...
We should do some R&B.
Do some R&B like...
What do we want to do?
Do like y'all fake love. So they thought you was like 112. That's courtship. They working on it now. 112, Jagged Edge.
Yeah, Jagged
do
Edge.
the Jagged Edge. Baby, let's get married remix.
Oh, I love that. That's the one.
That's fine.
That's the one. I love that.
We can do that.
Yeah, that's the one. Did she hear it?
Which one?
Jagged Edge remix the Run DMC.
Yeah, the fast one, not the slow one. The fast one. Thank you, Todd.
Came with the preachers
I got one
wild.
coming too. So like the first 3 to 4 minutes, health awareness month. We're doing this all month long. Dr. Rachel's going to be with us.
Dr. Rachel, they told me you was the nasty doctor. They told me you the new Dr. Ruth.
What?
I got questions.
So she'll be joining us every day for about 10 minutes. And
The hell?
A variety of topics.
Okay.
But we're not going to be clinical.
Okay, can I be hypothetical? Doctor, hypothetically, let me stop. If I used to be good and now, what do I need to eat, doctor? Y'all don't want to let me have no fun in the morning.
You can have all the fun you want, man.
Doctor. Oh, you know what you should play for? Let's get,
We got Charles' choice.
Yeah, I know, but then go ahead.
Other than that, go ahead.
I was gonna say we could do Doc Thompson Twins, Doctor.
Okay.
See, I'm burning.
What song do you want, Kimberly?
She already got it.
Yeah,
Run
Let's Get
DMC
Married.
112.
Okay.
Let's get married.
All right. But Thompson Twins, right?
Thompson Twins, Doctor. The doctor prescribes watermelon. Saline. Hey, y'all, check out Intergenerational Dialogues with Maze Jackson and Salim Muwakil every Thursday. And also, did y'all see the Crucial Conflict interview? Did y'all go back and get that? I'm telling y'all, that was an interview you don't want to miss. That was, I'm gonna tell you what, that was one of the more fun interviews I've done in my short radio career. I got so much insight, and if you want to know what happened behind the scenes with Shorty Capone, we told it all. West Side.
Yes. Now you know Ryan has definitely been on the West Side.
Amara, don't look, y'all. She was like, you know, Ryan has definitely been on the West Side. I'm like, he better not been on the West Side too long. No. Amar, now I'm gonna tell y'all know how the African queens be, right? The African queens be coming with the Prince Charles and joints. Look, he better not walk in here like, you know how he did. This chump gonna be like, what's dude that was with Serena Williams, right? Amara, Chima, don't you? If Amara come in here with Ryan, we whooping everybody's ass.
Ryan is married.
You do what you gotta do, Ryan. You gotta do.
Ryan.
Ask him.
Let me tell you what. You come in here with Ryan, your ass is not woke no more. You sleep.
Ryan have a brother.
Allow me to go there for a second, but that's a sense of safety and security, right? Like, you get the white dude, no?
You're like, Amara, like, did you hear my theme song? She's like, did you hear my theme song?
I'm just saying, right? Like, that's what that's about, no? I mean, okay.
Uh-oh. See, I think, that's our question. I think it's, look, Kim over here advocating for white boys. Kim is over here advocating. Is that woke? Are you advocating? You got woke white boys?
I am completely woke.
And woke white boys? Is there such thing as a woke white boy? I was at Bar Sienna, and there was a white boy telling me he was woke. And I was like, beat your ass around. If you don't get with his Chance the Rapper 3 hat on, oh yeah.
There was a guy at a bookstore who said he wanted to talk about Ta-Nehisi Coates. He's like, I read both books, and I was like, okay.
Look, that's like
to talk about it.
That's like black, huh?
Just like the I voted for Obama twice.
Yes.
That or this one. You guys watch The Wire? I love The Wire. Oh my God. How long before The Chi becomes The Wire? Oh my God, did you watch The Chi? Did you see little Ray Ray? I can't believe they killed him. Yeah,
I had somebody, she told me she watched Insecure. She was going on and on. And she was like, oh my God. Okay.
You insecure all you want. Don't get it twisted.
This white girl was excited about it watching Insecure. That's cool. So we can give some people a waiver, right? We can wave them in.
No.
Temporary
The
black
bros
card.
are always waving them in. The bros are always giving somebody a waiver or a pass.
Speak for yourself.
Switching up.
That's because men, let me just be clear. Men's job, the job of a man
To spread the seed.
is to make seed, and in the natural thing, right,
Yes,
is to have dominant genes all over the world.
That's right.
Women,
It's a
on
plan. It's a
the
master
other hand,
plan.
hey man, do you? Whether you like this, do you? Well, I'll tell you like this. Show up with somebody that ain't right, and the den will drag your ass. Quickly, without a doubt. The den is the drag capital of the world. Step out your box. I'm gonna tell you like this. You show up around this part, with somebody that ain't on the team. The den is ruthless. They will talk about your hey man, the den be getting mugs in trouble around this piece.
Nigerians are more ruthless than the den, though. She got to worry about that at home. It ain't nothing that they got on.
Hey man, right. Look, if Amara come home with a white boy, me and Chima gonna be in an African lion claw with a damn spear, talking about some who you know around here. We gonna show you some Wakanda for real, damn it. Some vibranium.
That's a vibranium.
Oh shit. They don't have these conversations at WGN, do they? Little different tenor.
No.
But look, Chima on this. Right, you laughing, Chima, but you know well, because I'm going to tell you. Let me tell you what would happen if Amara showed up with a white dude. Do you understand? We got this group on Facebook. I mean on Twitter, text group. How many memes would be in that mug? Do you know how much I would be creating memes? Shima would be like, Shima would not be able to come outside. We'll be like,
your own sisters and brothers always welcoming the colonizers into Wakanda.
hey, Antonio, hey, I'm from Bolingbrook. Stop hating. I grew up in Bolingbrook. You know what I'm saying? I converted in college, right? I learned about my blackness in college. Amen. But
some of the old pictures though.
Hey, can I tell you what though? Maze ain't got no shame in his past, present, or future. Like, my past is my past, my present you can't touch, and my future is through the roof. And that's with Commissioner Carey Steele. So they can all look. They can all have samples.
Playing the right version.
This ain't the one.
This is Promise.
We want the Run DMC version.
No, that's not the right
Baby, let's get married.
Let's get married. Let's get married.
It's too late now.
This is the wrong.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Song, everything, yeah. That's okay. Yeah, you wanted some kind of, right?
That's fine.
Okay, we'll just roll with this. We gotta rock with it. Nah, this was Let's Get Married. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, but every day at 8:30, we do a thing called Charles's Choice. Uncle Charles is not here today, so we let it be There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
So today's Charles's Choice is going to be picked by the threesome. That's right. Amara Enya, Kimberly Ogoin, and Tamon Bradley. Y'all, so what's up?
90s R&B. This is how we dealt with our feelings when we were growing up. I don't know how the kids do it today. Like, what are the songs don't talk about this? Meet me at the altar in your white dress.
Right, they be like, meet me at the Percocet. They be like, meet me at the pharmacy. Hey, right? You be like, look, and then, look, I was thinking, because we were talking about, y'all, what is the new romance? And, I was thinking about all of these R&B artists that we used to have back in the day. And then somebody said, we have sentimental artists. Chris Brown, right.
Chris Brown, bring the romance.
Right, yeah, but he's...
Drinking blank.
Right. And then how about, you got Chris Brown. You know what, y'all? This whole R&B thing has changed. Oh, they brought up The Weeknd. And I was like, so y'all saying that The Weeknd say, hey, yo, give me some. Now, ladies and gentlemen, but speaking of give me some, did you know that May is Health Awareness Month, and we have Dr. Rachel Ross on the line. Now, Dr. Ross, she used to be on that show, The Doctors, and she gave great health advice, but she's also a sexologist. So I want to talk about that. But before we do it, we gotta get through the other stuff. Let's talk a little bit about high blood pressure. My pressure's up already. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WVON Morning Show. Dr. Rachel Ross, welcome to the WVON Morning Show. How are you today?
Great, I'm fantastic. It's a pleasure to be here with you all this morning.
Now,
go ahead. Transitioning from hypertension to sex, is a tough thing. But when you think about it, when you're in the throes of passion, your pressure does go up. So the two are very much connected. So we can talk about it.
Oh, that explains a lot.
So you don't want to have high blood pressure and have sex then.
I thought
exactly. And studies show that people who have high blood pressure or an increased risk of a stroke or heart attack, if they're in with a new partner in a new situation, that's what increases their risk of a stroke or a heart attack.
Because you're trying to give your best. You're trying to...
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Trained journalist, let me stay out of this. What am I doing?
Hey, man, it's something about sitting over there that turns classically trained journalists into crazy men. It's something about that. But let's, what, y'all. So, again, this is Health Awareness. So, yeah, I want to give you all. I want to give my all in this interview. But if we're going to do it, we got to start right. So, let me go back again. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Rachel Ross, she is going to be with us. May is Health Awareness Month. And so, she's going to be with us all week talking about great things that we need to do about our health. We are going to talk about blood pressure. So, let's talk about high blood pressure. And then I want to ask you if this high blood pressure got something to do with the performance. You know what? Let's just start with the high blood pressure.
for having me on as an independent family medicine physician, as opposed to someone that's affiliated with a really large organization that can't give you the realest of the information. So for years as a family practitioner, I've been like, cut salt, cut salt, cut salt, cut salt, cut salt, cut salt, cut salt. And I've sat back and I've been like, everybody's cutting their salt out and nobody's blood pressure is really going down. And so what we found out in 2014 is there's more to it than that. When we're consuming our sweets, and when we're consuming our sugar, and when we're consuming all these processed, what we're doing is we're ingesting fructose, particularly high fructose corn syrup. And that is the thing that if you cut back on it, you'll see some major improvements in your blood pressure. So cutting back on the high fructose corn syrup, losing about 10% of your body weight, all of those have been the two practical measures that I have seen with my patients that makes the biggest difference.
Talk to me about this high fructose corn syrup. What products? Because I thought that there was just a big movement to take it out of products. But what should I be looking for to avoid?
Sure, it's a big movement to change the name of it.
Oh!
Because really what they're doing is it's still there, and really basically what it is, it's sugar that's just been refined and processed to the point that when it gets in your body, it causes this massive flood of what we call inflammation. And it keeps these things called inflammatory cytokines up, which is basically like throwing a little bit of acid into your body every day. So as we're sitting back, you're doing everything right. You've gone on this vegan diet, you've cut everything out, but if you don't manage that sugar intake, then you're really not going to have the impact that you want to have. And when we're talking about blood pressure, the new normal that the American Heart Association is pushing is making sure that your blood pressure is less than 120/80. And all of my patients and all of you, and I know Taman is having some blood pressure issues himself. I know.
Dang, you gonna put his business in the street? How you gonna put his?
Big issue. Well, he's not my patient.
What about the HIPAA? What about the HIPAA?
I love how the streets know about this. So let's talk about it briefly.
Confidentiality.
Apparently not. The streets don't know. All right, so look. Borderline high blood pressure. So I'm 34, so that's a little young to be having an issue. It is her, because genetics plays a factor. I do have family members. My dad battled that. I'm a person who I'm always on the go. I'm very busy, so I haven't always thought about what I'm eating, and I don't get regular exercise. And so now I'm trying to cook at home, and I'm trying to hop on the treadmill, and we're gonna try to lower it so I'm not taking medicine and stuff like that. Is that what I should be doing, doctor? The good news is you can fight this. You can lower your blood pressure.
No, absolutely, because genetics is only 30% of it. So we got 70% that we can play with here. So absolutely, you're doing everything right. Make sure part of that is cutting the sugar intake, and the other part of it, the biggest part of it, you know what you said? You said I work really hard, I'm really busy. The biggest part of it is stress management, because those same inflammatory cytokines that go up when you're eating a ton of sugar, they shoot out the roof when stress isn't managed properly. And you get there and your doctor's like, well, it's stress. It's why you're stressed. But we are finding out that being stressed out and not being able to manage that stress is just like smoking a pack of cigarettes every day. That's huge, right? So when you're coming up with strategies to be healthier, a big part of it has to be stress management. Epsom salt baths, relaxing, meditation, going for walks, all of those things because it's not the stress that kills you, it's the way your body handles the stress that ends up making people sick.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Dr. Rachel Ross. Now, this is May is Health Awareness Month, so she's going to be rocking with us all week. And y'all got, what, Dr. Rachel? You got off kind of easy this time because they talked about this blood pressure. I was trying to figure out you told me you was a sexologist. And I got some questions. I got some problems I need to iron out. And so I was just thinking, you know what, though, but you'll be back tomorrow. So you know what, maybe I'm going to write them down. You know what, maybe I should ask my questions off air. Hey, y'all, it's the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Dr. Rachel Ross, she'll be with us all week for Health Awareness Month. Until tomorrow, Dr. Rachel Ross, Hey man, I'm still putting me some I'm putting some Lowry's on my greens though. I'm just telling y'all. It's Southern Chicago.
That's all right. That's all right.
1690.
Any questions, go ahead and at Dr. Rachel, it's DrRachel. You go to drrachel.com, hit me up on Twitter, what have you, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Hey, you better come on in the studio. We heard. We'll talk about it later.
Thanks, Doc.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson.
Good interview, guys. Good
Your
interview.
sexual problems with her? Be on the air?
I was like, damn, she put you on blast, dog.
And then she said, well, he ain't my patient.
I was like, what happened there? What happened to HIPAA laws?
Nothing. So she just told everybody.
went there.
She let you go.
Talking down.
Hey guys, this is a fun broadcast, man. This was fun.
This was a fun one, yeah.
Oh man.
I've been feeling time. So y'all, what y'all do if Amara brought the white boy condom?
Oh boy.
What would y'all? Cause look, yeah, we wouldn't even.
We would dap him up.
You crazy? No, you ain't listen. You don't know the den, bro. The den would be like the den. The den is so ruthless. When I tell you the den is ruthless, you slip.
You know what? You got me in trouble with the bid.
What happened?
You announced that what's his name supported Kennedy for governor. You announced that he made an announcement in the church that if you don't vote for me, vote for Kennedy.
Oh, yeah.
I broke the story in the den, and the den came from my jugular.
Yeah.
They was like, so what you trying to do?
Tio
Yes,
was
Tio.
not real
So
happy.
what you trying to do, Kim? You trying to
I got the
dissension
video.
in
Somebody,
den?
I got the video.
I put the video. They're like, no, you're trying to cause
The
dissension
video
in the
made its
den.
way to me. And
What was
the
it?
video?
What was the-
new.
It was the
Tio was
video.
basically saying, because he was saying, look, if you don't want to vote for me, vote for Kennedy.
Kennedy.
He did say that.
He did, and the den was pissed.
I got
like,
the video.
Kim, why are you
I
saying
called him.
this?
I confirmed it. He was like, "Oh my God, don't go with that video or whatever."
Yeah.
You said it. You said it. Where were you?
We knew.
So
But the den was like, I made it up, and I'm trying to keep a brother down, keep the black folks down. It was a
well,
whole
look. I mean,
mess.
he said it. I mean, nobody told him to say it. You got to watch your head.
Man, somebody told him to say it. Stop that.
Camera
You said somebody told him.
Somebody told him to say, look, I've been doing Chicago politics for a long time. Let's just be clear here.
Well, why were they so late with that? Like Chewy came out and said, "Don't vote for Best. That's a wasted vote." That was late. You can't do that. The thing was already locked up.
See, man,
Like JB, I had already won the South and West Side.
they were, I think the green team felt like the thing that happened in the paper was going to be enough to get black folks mad and turn them out.
No.
And they listened to hear.
No.
Yeah.
You have this ready, Amara?
Sure.
Sure.
She's got to
Yes,
do
do
her
her
commentary. See how y'all, Amara, she be doing hers off the cuff, y'all. She like, see, she's smart.
I've witnessed her whip one up in less than 3 minutes. I was like, you just at it? No.
I try, man. Although I do.
What are you gonna wrap up with, Mason? Got some really good energy here going.
What am I gonna wrap up? I'm gonna wrap up with the show. I'm on a round table. If we gonna talk about the things that people liked in the show, we'll hit this R. Kelly Me Too thing real quick.
Okay. That'll be good.
Just cause I got these women in the studio. They're going after him now again hard. What made it? What's the?
So you got ahead of that with banning him yesterday.
Yeah, we banned him yesterday.
He gonna put out another real.
He gonna put out another killer album.
People are gonna be
Right.
doing it in their closet.
Do you remember when he did? Remember when the thing came out? He did Ignition, and it was like, I hate this song.
Right. And then
It's so
Put your
hard.
key in Ignition.
Oh,
Right.
God, it's so hard.
He's
They
gonna
do
do
like
a-
3 versions of
he's
each
gonna do
song.
a-
50 chapters in the class
in
is
the
going
closet.
about to come
So
out.
you gotta go listen to this music in the closet because you don't have nobody
Yeah,
else to
when
know you're
the
listening to.
initial went back,
Right. Do all
I
these series
admit
where he goes
that.
in, puts his
I
headphones
admit
on in the closet,
It's
listens
hard
to
not
it.
to listen to this. It's hard.
He is a musical genius. Again, separating the man from the music.
It's hard. It's hard. They put the beat to it, you listen to AMG. You be like, AMG! Y'all don't know AMG, do you?
Yeah, everybody knows AMG.
I'm just wondering. But you be, I mean,
Ain't
and they're
nothing
talking
like
about the
that
most, they talk
on
about the
my
most
Church at 'em up,
Yeah.
DJ
things
Quick.
in the world, but it's a good beat, and you just be like, hey.
Hey! Just constantly smoking weed. Look.
By the way, Creature Conflict is from the West Side. Just have to put that out there for y'all who don't know.
Love the poker bone, hey, in the middle of the bar, pumping on, hey, hey.
Where you at, Charles?
Let me go with the
Okay,
man.
Charles.
You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. You know what, y'all? We have been rocking it out in the studio. You know what I'm saying? We got to say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar. She's the musical conductor. And y'all heard that in the background. I even got the classically trained journalist getting the bob, too. You know what? Hey, y'all, last week we had the opportunity to have Chicago's own Crucial Conflict in the studio to record my podcast. And that's a story, y'all, that needs to be told. That is a story that needs to be told. Chicago, we got to tell our own stories. And, it was just great to talk to them. But it was funny to me because, they're trending this week. Beyonce brought them back. After she did her Coachella thing, she played the Crucial Conflict song. Then this week she added them to their playlist. Hey, man. That Hey, yeah. Tamar, what you know about Hey? You know about the Hey in the middle of the bar?
No comment.
Kim, you know about some Hey in the middle of the bar? Hey in the middle of the bar. And Amara, you better not. Let me just tell you, we don't even want you.
Nothing about it.
Not the queen.
Not the queen. Hey, y'all, we had a great show. I want to touch on something real quick. Bill Cosby, this thing, we were talking about it off air. I'm a little torn. I am able to separate the art from the artiste. Well, not artiste, because the art and the artiste go together. But the man, I'm able to separate. But one of the things that I think is one of the outcomes of this is, and I know R. Kelly, like, what the hell? I thought I was through with this. But apparently, this Me Too movement, Time's Up, has now been focused against R. Kelly.
Yeah, they're coming for it. Canceled concert at the UIC. Look, it's long overdue. There are so many allegations. Of course, he was tried and then he was found not guilty. What I suspect will happen is there'll be a real happy album that he puts out. It'll be some good music. It'll be Step in the Name of Love, the sequel.
And
Backyard
Party.
It will be in Backyard, but the bottom line is there have been a lot of allegations with a lot of women for many years, and it's so look, he's a musical genius. It's just so, maybe it isn't difficult, ladies. I'm the wrong person to speak on this. Maybe it's not complicated. Maybe that's enough for R. Kelly.
Well, I think there's a trend now. He's now in the crosshairs because of his past, and quite frankly, people, everyone has to decide whether or not they're going to support him. I think that I'm over it. I'm just over it. So he made great music. It doesn't negate the fact that he made great music, but in this case, it's hard to listen to that music without feeling some kind of way about what he's done.
So that don't apply to the Cosby Show?
With the Cosby Show, like I said, it doesn't negate his legacy with the Cosby Show, with the different world, with his.
Is it the same though?
HBCUs.
Is R. Kelly's the same?
Well, the Cosby
It's
Show,
still
it's positive images of black people, whereas R. Kelly's music's about sex.
Oh, look, here it is. Okay, Kim.
I just think
Kim,
that
you was torn.
There's so many levels to this because you got the memories of it, but then you also have to split Cosby, grown adults, R. Kelly, little girls, who we saw him waiting for at different events and that type of thing. So he can come out with some great music, but now that these women are feeling themselves, they are in Time's Up, they are exerting their power, he needs to leave it alone. Just rest on his laurels. You've had a good run. I know he's not going to do that because he's still in disbelief that he finally got caught up. He should just rest on his laurels and just be out.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what. There is probably nothing I enjoy more than being with my family, right? My son, my daughter, my wife, my mom and daddy. But I consider the WVON morning show my extended family, right, man? And there is nothing more that I enjoyed them being here. Now I'm gonna tell you, this conversation today was that much more enjoyable because it, we got diversity of opinions. Actually, but you know what? I'm starting to think that there's a commonality among black folks that we're starting to see, right? I think black folks, whether you woke, you not woke, something ain't adding up. And I think people are starting to see it, even the people that ain't the most conscious. I think we're all looking around, we're adding up, and the math does not add up. And I think no matter where you go, no matter what corner of the city, people, black folks, are saying the same things. There are commonalities. Black folks, we gotta be participatory in our fates and our outcomes. We cannot, it's like I was at that city club yesterday, I'm going back today. But the thing that I saw yesterday was black folks, that JB conversation that we heard on the air, that wasn't just JB and Rod Blagojevich. That is how the political establishment looks at black folks, as cards, chips to be moved around on the board. We got to start participating in our piece, and we got to start determining what we want. Amara, you got anything before we go, how people can catch up with you?
You can find me on Twitter, Amara Enya, also on Facebook and Instagram. And just want to plug again the War on Neighborhoods, Ryan Lugalia Holland, that is available on Amazon.
Taman?
Find me on Twitter at Taman Bradley, TAHMAN. WGN weekends and during the week reporting politics.
Kimberly?
I'll be back here tomorrow, but you can find me on Facebook, especially at Black Folks Stay Woke.
Hey y'all, I am your host for Net Floor in the newsroom for Miss Sonia Escobar. She is the music conductor of the Soul Plane. For Amara Enya, cause she's your queen to be. Taman Bradley, y'all make sure y'all support that brother. If y'all got some news, y'all know what's going on in politics. Let's embrace our next generation of reporters. Kimberly Agoin, check her out. She is a commentator. I am your host, Maze Jackson. If they don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace. Great show, guys. Great show, great show, great show. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate your insights. Thank y'all. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Who would have known we would have brought you back from camp? Look at Camp Kids. Camp Kids.
I have to say, I am so proud of Taman.